Hello, everybody, and welcome to the OCRP iRacing Cup Series under the lights here tonight at Richmond, watching that 74 of Steinhoff going around right now. We have 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Don't mind the crashing here. They are in practice right now, and we will be starting here very shortly for the Commonwealth Classic 200, and I'm sure that Mr. Cortez is going to have a lot of fun with that one tonight. My name is Jeff Favignano, joined by Civ Ryan. Ryan, this time I put you on my side of the box. Then we have Joe Cortez, and in the house we have Jay as well. Most of you know Jay from OCRP. He's here live in my office right now, watching this live. The first time he's seen this whole production happen in front of his eyes. And Jay, welcome on in.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, all right, we're going to get started here shortly. We do have some things to talk about. Cortez, Richmond is a very special place, and I know you've always enjoyed this track when we come to it. What sets this one apart from the others?
This is a special city in my heart for many different reasons, but the track in particular is a fascinating little track. Under a mile in length, it's very difficult to navigate if you're not used to short tracks. What makes it equally interesting to navigate are the high bank turns that go across the track, as well as that front stretch. It feels like you can dive in as fast as you want and hold the loud pedal down, but in fact you can't. You have to respect it like a small track. And if you don't, you will go spinning very, very easily around, as we see our friend do right there.
Yeah, the 44 of Isaiah Stevens there, losing it off of turn number 2. And 2 will be one of the hot spots tonight to watch those cars getting loaded up into turn 1 after being a D-shaped oval like Richmond is. And as we come off of the front stretch there, you got to dial in those brakes, get your brake bias all the way forward there on the car to help it rotate into the corner. And we see guys really struggle with not only entry of not running the person over in front of them, but also putting the hammer down and getting off of the corner, driving as straight as possible to get as much speed off of 2 as possible. And that spells disaster for a lot of these drivers. We'll see them spin.
You got a good point there, Jeff. Let me just interject real quick. You do carry a lot of momentum coming off of turn 4, across that bank tri-oval, and into turn number 1. And if you are not prepared, if you do not understand where that brake zone is, and you're not prepared to figure out which lane you want to run and how you want to run it, you will run the risk of spinning it, you'll run the risk of running over the guy in front of you, or unintentionally causing a big incident, which could end your race. Now, you do have 2 quick repairs, which is great for these guys. They're going to need them tonight, because I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of chaos as they navigate this tricky little triangle.
Well, let's talk about the weather a little bit here. 73 degrees is the air temperature right now. Winds southeast at 9 miles per hour. Well, 8 miles per hour right between there, those two. But track temperature of 75 degrees. That is quite low, and that's going to provide a lot of grip. And Ryan, you've been to this track before. You know what it's like, how crazy it can be. But you heard that these cars are a little bit more tricky than the trucks.
If I remember correctly, when I raced this one, I started to figure out this track when I started just pushing the car more than I thought I could push it into the corners, because you got to be driving these. I think we were racing the trucks that year when I raced this, but it was finding that limit for these cars to get really fast into the corners. Trail braking, a big thing here as well, but should be a good race. Short track is going to breed some short track tempers. I can see some sparks flying later there, Jeff.
One thing I want to check in on some of our top drivers that are out there on the track right now. One of those being the 86, Jason Lance. He had the pole position starting the truck race on Monday and had a tremendous day there. Watch him spin it off of turn number 4 there on the D-shaped front stretch here. And well, I was going to watch them, but now they're going to watch Joel Brown, and we're going to ride on board with him. I want to see if these guys are going to be shifting. I'm not sure if, with the next-gen car, we're going to see the shifting between 5th and 4th gear here. I see him in 4th right now. As he gets up to speed, we'll see if he's going to utilize 5th gear, which there's 5th right there. But will he downshift into the corner? That is the question. They're just into 4th, so that just answered it for us. They will be shifting into the corner.
That adds a whole... sorry, Joe, I was going to say, that adds a whole another element, because a lot of these guys still haven't gotten a lot of races, in this league so far, with having to shift all too often. Usually in the other cars with the 4 gears, you don't really have to shift, but that adds a whole little extra element to this. Go ahead, Joe.
is you know exactly why they're shifting there. They're using the transmission to get torque and to build a little bit of speed going off of the turn. So yes, they do have to shift. They do have to be very careful on how they use this the transmission here, because that's going to be a big part of how they navigate this track tonight. Without transition management, it could make the difference between going in the correct direction and going backwards in a hurry.
Last week we talked about hot dogs. Well, tonight we're going to talk about Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck, Charles Gray, I actually kind of put him up to it and said, hey, you know what? You need a Chuck E. Cheese car. And what did he do? He delivered.
Is Chuck E. Cheese even a franchise anymore? Do they still exist?
Oh, you better believe it.
With the saddest pizza known to man?
Saddest pizza known to man, and the entertainment, for a 4-year-old.
Hey, fun fact, during the pandemic, they did deliver pizza. Would you like to know the name under which they delivered?
It had to be one of those ghost kitchens, was it?
It was a ghost kitchen. It was a ghost kitchen. And the name, if you've ever ordered a pizza from Pasquale's Pizza, you ordered yourself the world's saddest pizza coming from a Chuck E. Cheese near you.
I thought you were going to say Mr. Beast Burger. I was like, well, that's a ghost kitchen too, but either way.
I still ate in at Chuck E. Cheese. I still went. I still went there by myself. Yeah.
But did you go to the ball pit?
Yeah, that's where I eat the pizza.
Of course it would be.
That's where the Hebrew Nationals were hiding out. We're down in the ball pits.
Hey, that's the best place to find a Hebrew National. What are you talking about?
Oh my God, this is getting off the rails.
Rightfully so. 58 seconds left in practice before we can move into qualifying. We'll explain to you, if you've just joined for the first time, our qualifying sessions are 10 minutes long. The first 5 minutes will be qualifying. The next 5 minutes of that will be for the driver's meeting, meaning if you get out there 1 second past the 5-minute mark, your time will not count. We're seeing a lot of guys just running into each other. I think they know that time's up and they just don't care. The 91 into the wall right there as well. So we're going to get underway with some qualifying here in just a few moments. But any other final thoughts before we get into things here? Do you guys expect anything out of these drivers? Let's talk about the top three. You're watching Favignano. He's an incredible driver, had such a great season so far, but he's out of the running order right now for the championship. We're looking at Wes Graham, Nick Sargent, and Brandon Buggs. Points, 404 for Wes Graham, 382 and 381. So only 1 point between Nick Sargent and Brandon Buggs. And if you're Favignano, you need all three of these guys to have a bad night. But Brandon Buggs and Nick Sargent, well, they don't want to see the 88 have a good one.
That is right. The 88's got to do something uncharacteristic of them and finish outside at least the top 10, you got to say. So we'll see if Wes Graham can avoid that and have, because really he's just got to get good points to bring it on home here. So that's an interesting storyline, Jeff. Isn't there another storyline that we have? We had a driver update?
Yes, we had Dylan Macedo has announced that he will not be part of the league anymore. I'm not sure why. Maybe something in real life happened or something along those lines. Things seem to be fine on those ends, but when a driver steps away, we always respect them for doing it. And all the great racing we saw out of Macedo over the years, he called it quits and said, hey, I got to get going. Have a good one. And that was pretty much all we heard out of there. No bad blood or anything like that, but just to let you guys know, keep you in the loop. Here's one of the fan favorites right now on the track, trying to get it done.
That'd be the 81 of Bay Area Buggs, Brandon Buggs, in that multicolored Mountain Dew machine. He was your winner last week. He goes spinning into the inside wall. Oh, not able to keep it off the wall. That is going to hurt his qualifying time. But he was great at the very back of the field last week. He could do it again this week.
Here's that Chuck E. Cheese Chevy Camaro right now off of turn number 2, trying to get all the speed he can out of it. Get a good time. Sargent right now having a great run. And look at that, Lance will drop him off of the pole right now in second. And that is good for Lance right there. He had a great, starting to the Monday night race, and he had the pole on Monday in the truck series. But we're seeing Nick Sargent in second, Steinhoff, Gray, Johnston. We'll see if the 87 of Charles Gray can do any better here in the Chuck E. Cheese Camaro.
I do like that livery. Looking good there, Chuck. But Jeff, if I could just take a quick opportunity to do some shameless self-promotion, and I won't feel bad about this because it's for charity, but Wes Graham and Bearder as well as myself and Bugs will be racing in the Peachtree iRacing Endurance event tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. We are raising money for the MS Society. We had an insane donation run last year, and we hope to repeat it. But if you want to come out to and support a great cause, I know everyone at the MS Society, and we'd appreciate it. So sorry for the shameless plug, but come on.
No, plug away. I wanted to ask Cortez this, but the name of the race tonight is the Commonwealth Classic 200. This seems right down your alley. What do you take away from the Commonwealth Classic 200 here tonight?
Now, funny you should ask, because I believe, if memory serves me correctly, there are only 3 states in the United States that are not classified as states, but as commonwealths. Virginia is one of them. Can you name the other 2?
I would probably say somewhere in the Northeast, Connecticut, Massachusetts, something like that.
Okay. Can you get a little closer?
I cannot. That was my guess.
Maryland.
The other 2 states, and chat, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. The other 2 states that are classified legally as commonwealths instead of states are Kentucky and the Commonwealth of Rhode Island, and formerly Providence Plantation.
Yeah, I have no idea what any of that is. I guess I fell asleep during that lesson in high school.
So they're not states?
No, they are technically legally classified as commonwealths of the United States.
So your flag's a lie then. There's not that many states.
Have you visited America lately?
No, I have not.
There are a lot of lies.
There you go.
Pennsylvania is also a commonwealth, so 4.
Oh, Pennsylvania.
6 minutes left right now, so nobody else taking a qualifying lap, and Brandon Buggs did not get a time in. He had that crash, and then we saw again he was in the wall with damage, so pushing that car to its limits. He scored 13th right now on the board, just below Underwood. But Favignano gets it done tonight and will take the pole position away from Jason Lance. But have a look there. We're watching, like I said, we're watching for Nick Sargent, and we're watching for Wes Graham and how they are faring here. And look at that. You got a 3rd position for Sargent, but a top 5 there for Graham.
Now, this being a short track there, Jeff, how much do you think lap traffic is going to come into play? Because we all know Favignano, hot lap king. Once he gets out in front, he can stay out front for a while. But do you think lap traffic is going to be an issue?
I do. I think that'll happen sooner than you think, especially if we can get the green flag runs in. And that's the thing. You know, on Monday, we saw in the Truck Series, we didn't have a whole lot of yellow flags, but I think there's been a trend so far this season that here in the Cup Series, we've seen a lot more yellow flags than we have on the Monday nights where we have the Truck Series. And if you guys aren't watching on twitch.tv/WestTheMess88, he is the host of the broadcasts on Monday for the truck race that I actually participate in. I actually had a really good run here at Richmond. It's a fun track. I've always enjoyed this, and I just love short track racing in general. But getting back to it, it's hard to say if we're going to see green flag runs. Sure, but if we're going to see, yellows, I think it's going to change it up.
How'd you do on Monday?
I think I finished P8, but I ran up there. I got up to like 3rd or 4th and ran there for a while. Got caught up in some stuff, got my truck fixed, got back out there, drove back to the field. I started P14, so getting a top 10 was fine with me.
That's a good finish, man. Like I've said this so many times, getting a top 10 in this league ain't easy. These guys are really good, so a top 10 finish is nothing to shrug about.
Let's talk about Richmond Raceway. 4 turns, obviously, D-shaped oval. We have a length of 0.72 miles, so this is under a mile. So it is technically a quite a short track, a lot more than you would think. It's less than Dover, even though it's deceiving, where it has that look of like Phoenix or something. We're going to be looking at we talked about the track temp, 74 degrees right now. It's cooling off. That's going to bring in all of that grip, and they're going to need it tonight.
Absolutely, they're going to need it tonight. They're going to need all the help they can get to prevent this from becoming what I'm going to believe is a caution-filled fiesta on the track tonight. It's going to take a lot of skill for these guys to navigate it very well and to navigate this with a lot of clean laps. So expect some cautions. I've got a feeling we're going to have to find some things to talk about as the race goes on.
I think you'd be surprised, if these guys can get away from each other like we saw on Monday, and there's a lot more single file racing, we won't have that issue. But a lot of side-by-side action down into turn 1, obviously, getting off of turn 2, but also, driving as straight as possible off of turn 3 and 4, off of turn 4 is going to be difficult because you want to get that car pointed towards the wall and drive it up there. But you see that Geico restart zone, that is in turn 4. It's just on the exit of turn 4, past entrance of pit road. Makes it for a very interesting restart.
That is a good observation to point out. I didn't realize it was that far back on a corner, no less. That means guys missing their shifts. I'm looking at you there, 81. I heard about that. It's going to be an issue, especially around that bend. So restarts will be very, very exciting this race.
I do want to say that with the restarts, it's been very confusing lately, and they have been sending out penalties like crazy for it. We saw it on Monday. The start of their race starts on the green flag by the flagman. So you cannot go. Even though you're in the Geico restart zone, doesn't mean you can go. You have to wait for the flagman to throw the green flag for the race to begin. But on the restarts, the control car is the one that restarts in the Geico restart zone. Now, if we see on the backstretch, the guy on the outside that's in second, if he is passing that guy, you might see a black flag from that, and we've seen that. You cannot pass the leader at any time under yellow for obvious reasons, especially when you're 2x2. And you're going to be heading into that restart zone. So we'll be watching really closely, especially for the start of this race. Before we do that, we have 2 laps to get around here. Let's start with the starting grid here tonight. Row 1, we got Leonard Favignano and Jason Lance.
Go ahead, Joe.
Row number 2 belongs to the inside of row number 2 belongs to 74 of Ryan Steinhoff, and the outside of him, one of the men in the points challenge, the 48 of Nick Sargent.
Row 3, we got Wes Graham and Chuck E. Cheese, 87, Charles Gray.
Row number 4, Austin Johnston and Alex Reno. Johnston had a great run on Monday.
Rounding out your top 10 will be the 14 of Nick Gould, and the 6, the Snap-on machine of Clint Spells.
Row 6, we got Isaiah Stevens, next to him Donald Underwood in the 01.
Row number 7, Brandon Buggs in that 81 car had a bad time in qualifying, and it shows right now. Outside of him, Clayton Cyrus in the 05.
Row number 8, the inside along the 55 of Joe Ogle. On the outside of him, the 20 of Jonathan Ordorf starts position number 16.
Row 9, we got Robert Bearder. Next to him is Jeffrey Spells.
And rounding out on row number 10, the entire field is the 91 of Robert Webb. That's your starting grid that we can see so far. We're going to be green flag racing next time by. The lights are off on the pace car. Everybody is ready for the start of this race. Let's watch and make sure that 86 doesn't try to take off before the 67, and the 67 doesn't go before the green flag. That is what we're going to be watching here on these starts of the race. We heard it from race control. Tony said, no more, I'm not dealing with it. You're going to get a penalty. It is what it is. Green flag in the air here at Richmond.
And the flagman just going crazy, waving the green flag over. It's Favignano getting the big jump, but that icy machine trying to keep him cool down. It'll be 2x2 going through turns 1 and 2.
A lot of action moving on back through the field, but right here in P2, 3, 4, and 5, side-by-side battles, as you see that's Austin Johnson there getting a little, having to put some defensive driving on there as Nick Gould makes the pass on the inside.
Yeah, Jason Lance on the outside of the 48 trying to hold him at bay, and they are side-by-side off of turn number 2 down into turn 3. Watching behind them, I was watching Steinhoff, and you got Wes Graham and Charles Gray in the mix right there in that Chuck E. Cheese car. They're all side-by-side back here.
And Favignano, of anybody who's now leading by about a second, needs to have a big win tonight. He is the one on the outside looking in on this championship points battle despite having 4 wins. If he doesn't have a good win tonight, if he doesn't get a big win over Wes Graham, Nick Sargent, and Brandon Buggs, this could be the end of his hopes of winning a championship.
You see how close these guys want to get to that wall, and that's the thing, we're going to see that all night. How comfortable are you going to get? Oh, and the 87 having issues.
Chuck E. Cheese almost put it into the ball pit there. He gathers it up and keeps it going as he's now in P11. Good save there by Charles Gray.
Started 6 right now. He is running in the 11th position after almost having that big moment there, but a great job by that driver getting it going straight again.
Ryan, you think he was looking for that slice of pizza, the hot dog in the ball pit, trying to escape it?
He was doing something. Maybe he was enticed by those animatronics that they got there. I don't know. But he gathers it back up, keeps it pointed straight, and we avoid a caution. And we got 5 green laps already at Richmond. Yeah, you like that.
And you see that entry that Sargent has right there. Whenever you are all the way up there at the top and you're using that brake to help that car get into the corner, you risk sliding that right front. The biggest issue these drivers are going to face as far as tire wear goes is the right front of the car. They got to really take care of it. Easier said than done, trust me.
So, Jeff, what was the preferred line? Like, are you going to bring your stuff up down low a little quicker? It looks like guys are doing, you know, high entry and then on the low lane there. Is that the preferred line?
Yeah, you want to get down to that bottom line as much as possible. It's the fastest way around the track. You see how Favignano was driving the bottom line there and just drove it straight towards the wall. That's the best way to do it. And we'll watch that 67s get down into turn 1. Again, using that car, wound it up, using the brakes, getting down on the yellow line and just getting a straight shot off there. I mean, it's burning the tires up on it. It's not the most conservative line, but it is the fastest.
And I think we're going to see guys get a little bit more conservative as the night goes on. Remember, these guys are going to have to come down for tires once, maybe twice this track because it chews them up so hard. So that being said, after these first 10 laps, after we start, getting these tires worn down, expect them to get a little more conservative, expect those times to drop as they all wait patiently to figure out who's going to be the first one to come down pit road.
And Ryan, you saw right there, you're just asking, what is the fastest line? Look at the 81. Look how he's getting into the turns versus the 87. The 87 taking the more, relaxed way into the corner. Watch how late he turns down there. But look at the 81 getting down to the bottom as fast as possible so he can get a straight run off of there. And not this time because he's going to be loose he's going to get loose like that because the wheel got really tight on him because he got in there too deep in the corner. But we're seeing the difference between how the 81 and the 87's attacking it.
Jeff, I've been watching some crazy action in the back of the field around Joel Brown and Jeffrey Spell's area. They are battling back here, man, and it's getting a little squirrely. So far, a couple cars made contact there, but they've held it straight. A lot of racing going on back here. I know they're in the back, but it's still exciting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're watching there by Bearder, and then you've got, Donald Underwood, Tyler Schultz up in the mix right now. Tyler Schultz in that Exalta Chevrolet right there on the inside of Bearder as they're getting down into turn number 1, and that's where we've seen a lot of crazy things happen here. But 12 laps so far, we're green and no issues. But man, if something's going to happen, I think it's going to happen right around here.
Green and clean is the call of the race so far, scoring lap number 13. And you're absolutely right. This is a hornet's nest brewing back here. These are guys who are running, let's not call them field fillers. They're running their own races. They're running for fun tonight. They're having a great time in these next generation cars. The challenge for them is they're going to have to figure it out amongst themselves. They're going to keep it clean. They're going to have to keep it moving in the right direction. And all it takes is one bump. All it takes is getting a little air loss or spinning those tires. And next thing you know, that whole area is big junk.
Keep an eye right there. Look at the 86 to Favignano. He has actually gained quite a bit of time on him now. And he's closing in on the 67. Maybe the 67's laying back a little bit, not wanting to use up all of his stuff. Or maybe, you know what, he just shot out of a cannon and he used it all up.
But go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead.
Gonna say, how much longer till lap traffic comes into play for Favignano? A few more laps at least. And like I've seen that lap traffic, I don't think he's gonna like that look because that is a hornet's nest, like Joe was saying, brewing back there.
Yeah, you see Robert Webb right there. He's the one on the tail end of the field right there, getting through turns number 4. And look at there on the backstretch, getting into turn number 3 right there. That is the leader. So yeah, absolutely, the 91 will be a factor shortly.
Well, not only that, but tires are going to end up being a factor here sooner rather than later. As you mentioned there, Ryan, earlier, you've got to think that your leaders have have started to burn up a little bit of their stuff, and now they're going to start getting conservative. They're going to start holding back just a touch, and they're going to see how long they can stretch the tires. Fuel is not the issue tonight. You can come down for fuel at any time and still be okay. The issue is going to be tires and how well you manage them around this not quite a 3/4 mile track.
That's a top 10 position right there for the 81, and Alex Reno in that 22. That's right in front of him, trying to hold him off right now.
That Kansas City Southern Lines livery is just beautiful. Can I say that?
You absolutely
it's just beautiful.
Can. Alex Reno having a good run.
And the guy who designs them does not get enough credit.
Yes, he does. Are you kidding?
He gets more than enough credit.
He gets more than he deserves, eh, Tony?
I'd agree with that.
Hey, Tony, now that we got you on the horn here, what can we expect? You think it's going to be lap, about 50 before they're going to come down on pit road?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was sure you were going to come and ask that question. That's right about where I'm thinking we're going to see about 50 if we stay green that long, which it kind of looks like we will, but 50 seems to be the magic number.
Watching Clint Spills back here. Not Spills, but Spells. He almost had a spill there with the 55 as he almost got into the wall. It's the 55, but Joe Ogle almost getting in the wall in turns 3 and 4 there, but he'll get it going straight again and straight. It's been single file racing we've seen mostly out of these guys, but the 55 coming back to fight for that position. That is for the 11th spot, but Nick Gould, we saw great things out of him on Monday in the truck race. You know, having a start here tonight in 9th. He's fallen to 10th position right now, but he's kind of just hanging in there.
I'm paying attention to that 3 cars behind Joe Ogle of Isaiah Stevens, Tyler Schultz, and Joel Brown. Those are 3 fast cars, and they are actually catching Joe Ogle right now as Joe Ogle goes all around, just as I said.
Oh,
yep, Joe Ogle. Huge crash there, and the caution will fly. For the first time tonight on lap 23, we saw Joe Ogle really struggling there with the car, and it finally broke free on him there, getting off of turn 2. We talked about turn 2. Well, this is it right here. You see him putting the power down right there, a little too early perhaps. He had no help. He was all by himself.
Now just put the foot in it a little too hard, too early, and that 55 Whataburger Chevrolet Camaro goes straight into that inside wall. No safer barrier there. He would have felt the full force of that collision. Caution out for the first time tonight. Little chunk, not big chunk, just little chunk.
Well, they get, 6 sets of tires, so we're on lap 24. I think they might come down pit road, especially if they burned them up early on.
Do it. I think now's the time to do it. Consider if you have 6 sets of tires, and you were planning on going through this race in quarters.
Wow.
You've got 2 extra sets, so go ahead and come on down. Foderaro's going to lead them down pit road.
Yeah, Jason Lance didn't come. Neither did Nick Sargent there. So that's a play for track position 100%. Interesting, but we've got Wes Graham, you got Steinhoff, you got the 21 of Johnston. They are coming down pit road. The 6 of Spell stayed out along with Sargent and Lance, but everybody else is on pit road.
Let's follow along with the 67 Foderaro, the U.S. Army Chevrolet Camaro. He is going to get 4 brand new virtual racing Goodyear Eagles and a full tank of Sunoco virtual racing gas. Down and away, he will be the first taker of 4 brand new tires on this thing, and it looks like everyone else behind him got 4 new tires as well, including Wes Graham, the Lone Star Machine is 74, all got 4 brand new tires and a full tank of Sunoco virtual racing fuel.
That was a 74 of Ryan Steinhoff that was pushing the green cone around, abusing that poor green cone off of pit road. So right now, as it looks off of pit road, it was Foderaro, Graham, Steinhoff, Johnston, Charles Gray, and then look at that, Brandon Buggs. He came down on pit road and got it done as well. After starting 13th tonight, he's in the top 10.
Good job there by Brandon Buggs to work his way through the field. Nice patience driving. He does that quite a bit. We'll start near the back of the field and just kind of save his tires and work his way through. So he's going to be showing P9, I want to say.
And once again,
Lance not doing it. Not coming down pit road.
No, he is not. But I want to go back to Bugs real quick, and he does need to have a good run tonight. He is in the thick of it for the championship with 3 races left to go too after tonight. 23 points away from Wes Graham, 1 point away from Nick Sargent. If anyone needed a good run tonight, it's going to be the driver of that Mountain Dew Ford Mustang.
And the pace car lights are off. Will be 2x2 green flag racing next time by. Short yellows, like we said, less than a mile around this track. It doesn't take very long for them to get around this track, and you're seeing it right now because we're going to be green flag racing here in a second. But the real question is, did the 86, 48, and 6 have anything for these guys that took tires? I honestly think after 27 laps here we're seeing right now, I know a couple under caution. I think that this can spell disaster for spinning tires, but you're also going to be super slow on this restart.
Green.
Yeah, they are going green in the Geico restart zone. No black flags that time either, as that outside lane is nice and cautious, but you can see that Clinton Spells mobile is going to take advantage of that as he's showing P2 as Wes Graham and Nick Sargent go side by side battling for that P3 spot. But look at Favignano right behind him, and he's going to waste no time trying to get back to P1.
You're seeing right now the difference between new tires and old tires. Lance able to hold off the field, but the question is for how much longer? You've got Favignano, you've got Graham, both side by side right now with those brand new tires. They could run that turn harder. Graham might be able to get the pass on the outside. Oh, he's in the wall.
Oh, and they go around. The 88 and the 67 together. Down in the 81. The 94 of Schultz involved.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Big
man.
jump.
Big
Do you
jump.
feel the splitter on the racetrack?
That's a chunky.
That's definitely a chunky, and we're going to go ahead and go back and figure out what just transpired. It looked like it happened in front of them, and they were just kind of collected. It was 3 wide between them and the 6 of Spells. Looks like Clint Spells getting off of turn 2 here, got in the 88.
Go rewind a little bit, Jeff. I swear I saw the 67 get a little tap to that 6 coming in here. Yep, right there. Look at that.
I think that's just, hey, you're slow, and I need to go.
This.
Yeah, it's just a slight tap. Not enough to get him out.
It pushed him up wide, I think, into the Grandmobile.
Yeah, he was just bouncing off the 88 over and over, and nothing Wes could do right there, but just kind of hang on. The 74 of Steinhoff, hard crash into the inside, and Nick Gould and Reno will get involved. And that was contact with the 81, but it doesn't look like it's cosmetic. 94 of Schultz just absolutely plowed the 88.
So that 6 car that got, sorry, Joe, that 6 car that got a little bit of a shove there was on old tires, and it was a little slow. So I don't think that was intentional. I think you just didn't expect him to slow up that much. Got a little tap, went up into the 88, and the rest is history. Go ahead, Joe.
Look, Clint Spells was, on old stuff, and he's slow. Favignano's a great driver. He knows how to operate his car very, very well. And you saw just a tiny, tiny bit of a tap to say, hey, you're slow. I need to get around you.
Yeah. No, see, I'm going to argue that here real quick and just follow my thesis here. I think what you saw there was just simply a racing deal. 2 guys fighting for the same piece of real estate, fighting really hard, probably fighting a little too hard too early. In that situation, I believe that that discretion would have been the better part of valor. And knowing that I got Wes Graham with brand new tires on the outside, I would have slowed up, said, go ahead, take the spot. I'll come get you later.
Well, regardless, a lot of guys are on pit road with damage, and they'll be taking care of that. But right now, out of all of that nonsense, the 87 of Charles Gray and Brandon Buggs actually made out pretty well there. P1, P2.
Made it through that wreck. And Wes Graham still up in 3rd despite all that happening, and you got Austin Johnson behind him. Tyler Schultz, a big mover in that one as he moves up to 5th place on this restart.
I think the 94 made those positions because he just kind of arc-braked it into the corner and got him before the caution came out. But looking at the 88, that's a lot of damage in that right rear. And he took a good solid hit there. So that might have broken that right rear toe. We talked about, this next-gen car and having that independent rear suspension. We're seeing that maybe rear its ugly head here, especially if he broke that right rear toe link.
Which is entirely possible. It's entirely possible he did that. But the nice thing is you do have those those 2 quick repairs. You do have effectively 2 brand new cars in the garage you can pull out at any given time when needed. So, you know, it's possible. It's still possible to win. We're very early in the race. We're not even a 16th. We're barely a 16th through this race.
Well, I don't think that's the last one we've seen of the night, especially when it comes to having cautions as things are starting to heat up now. And guys know how important track position is over tires. We saw Jason Lance did one heck of a job holding him off there, but he actually ended up falling back considerably. He's in the 14th spot right now after starting P1 in that last restart.
So Gray and Bugs will be your front row when we go back to green flag racing in that very, very precarious little restart zone. The first racing Toyota Camry now makes its way down pit road, and to the green flag they go. They already hit the loud pedal to the Geico restart zone, and we are back racing with a Chuck E. Cheese machine in front, but now the 2 grizzled veterans battling for position number 2.
Let's get loud and listen to the sounds of Richmond right now as these guys are trying to get around here. And never mind, we've got caution out on the track as we've got guys involved. And we're trying to figure out who it was. I saw the 13 go around there, and looks like the 44 of Isaiah Stevens as well. We couldn't even get a good let's get loud in there for you. They sounded great when they did come by, but man, yeah, we're gonna watch right here. It looks like it was between the 44 and the 13, just got into each other.
The 01 slowed up big time there, Jeff. I was watching on the blimp camera. So Jeffrey Spells tried to go around him on the inside, but hey, there's a Nesquik car there. No room, so you can see how slow he got there.
That's all it took there, and there's the 13 sideways. Yeah, 44 will have damage on the nose there. He'll have to come down on pit road and get a fast repair done on that car, and the 13 as well with some damage, but he might be able to stay out. We'll see how that works out there, but we're watching right now the 44 of Isaiah Stevens. I'll see if he's going to come down pit road, as you know, he took the brunt of the damage here on their right front. It's pretty crinkled in, and looking there, he's already used a fast repair so far, so he has another one. He might not want to use it yet.
Only 2. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say lap 38 to 200. I don't know that I would use it. I think I would wait because I've got a feeling this is caution number 3, and as we all know, cautions breed cautions. So I think you're right, Jeff. I think if it's lap 38 of this race, I don't know that I want to go ahead and use that just this right now, because I think there's a better opportunity to use it when more people have burned up their cars down the line.
That was the 74 of Steinhoff. That was your lucky dog. He'll get his lap back on to it all. And that's why you saw him flying around there as fast as he was, which we'll get caught up to that car in just a few moments. Yeah, he was the only one on the lap down, so he'll be back on the lead lap. And he was the only car I see that's scored a lap down out of 22 drivers that are on the track right now. Gray, Graham, Bugs, Johnson, Schultz, Guzman, Ogle, Bearder, Cyrus, Orendorf is your top 10. Have a look there at the 26 of Guzman. Kind of the right place at the right time after starting 23rd. He's in the 6th position right now.
What pink mobile is he driving today? What is that? Oh, Dollar General.
Yeah, the Dollar General Matt Kenseth scheme, I believe, is what that one is from back in the day.
He needs a Pepto-Bismol scheme for all the pink cars he runs.
What's wrong with pink?
Nothing wrong with it.
I've never seen there's anything wrong with it. It's just that's what he drives.
Everyone loves a little pink in their lives every now and again.
I'm going to leave that one.
Please do. I said that just for you.
I'm leaving that one on the
He was talking about a Hebrew national hot dog. That's what it meant. He wants them. He likes when the dogs are smoked.
Hey, there is nothing wrong. All dogs are pink on the inside when you think about it.
What is going on?
I'm not sure.
Jay, wait, Jay's here. Jay, how you like it? Let's talk to Jay. How's your race? How's the behind the scenes?
Seeing behind the scenes operations of this is just absolutely phenomenal. Just the amount of work that goes into this is amazing. And, you know, these little side tangents that happen are bound to happen when there's this much insanity going on behind the scenes.
Jay, I don't even recognize you with how high fidelity and clear your voice is on this mic. On that, are you on that? You got him on that RE20 or whatever, Jeff? Because god dang, I don't even recognize your voice, man.
It's amazing what happens when you go from the great technology that Jeff uses to the, you know, $30 special from Target that I use.
Yeah, it still works, man. Good to have you out.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, we're going to be restarting lap 42 of 200. A lot more racing to go, and we've seen guys getting aggressive early on. And, well, we're keeping an eye on those guys that are running in the front of the points here. And one of those drivers is that 88 of Wes Graham and the 81 of Brandon Buggs. But Fodderell was hoping to spoil the surprise, watching for Nick Sargent. Nick Sargent's back in there quite a bit. Green flag back in the air.
Wes Graham really checked up there because he did not want to get that black flag, and Barry Buggs takes advantage. He goes down to the bottom line as he follows Charles Gray, your leader, and Wes Graham in third.
Let's run along with the 81 of Buggs now on that back bumper. You see just how close that Toyota Camry of Wes the Mess gets. He is going to run in line, though. He's going to be patient. We've already seen too many cautions. He got caught up in one, so right now he is just happy to be sitting in third and waiting and biding his time to pick up P2.
A whole line of cars down the inside of the 26 of Guzman, 21 of Johnston, having some issues, gets it going straight again for now. Oh, and Ogle up there, man, they're all over the place. I cannot believe that wasn't a crash.
Shout out to Johnson for saving that. He was stuck on that apron, Jeff, because he didn't know when to enter back in the track. He didn't want to go up there to crash everybody. Slid again and saved it. Incredible car control there to save it. Good job by him. Enough of that. Let's go right here with Joel. Oh, never mind. We'll go up with our leader. We'll catch up with them. Okay, we'll go back.
There's just too many cars back here. It's a whole gaggle of them.
Let's follow along with 86 of Lance right now. He was up leading at one point. Now he's quagmired back in that traffic out there. You see just how precarious it is running on the icy Chevrolet. He's trying to keep it icy back there, but it's going to be very difficult running, you know, too wide all the way through this track. He wants to get that position back. He needs to get that position back, but you can't run with a damaged car.
Look at this battle here between Gould and Ogle on the outside. And in front of them, you got Joel Brown battling with Clayton Cyrus as well. Lots of battles going on back here. This is we're in the meat and potatoes of this pack.
Yeah, top five got into a single file. Yeah, we know they're boring. But back here, it's anything but. This is just a hornet's nest of cars that are trying to get around Richmond, and it shows. Look at Cyrus way up on the top there. That's not the line you want to be at. It's so hard to get off the corner like that because the car can almost get sideways on you. 3 wide into the corner. It's not going to work. They make contact, but they're able to keep it together for now.
They keep it together, and that hornet's nest just continues to brew. Everybody knows that they are running on a little bit thinner ice now with those thinner tires underneath them. Almost a quarter of the way through this race, and now you're starting to see everyone get a little racy, trying to figure out how far they can push these cars until they break.
Ooh, it's getting tight there. The 91 of Webb got really tight in turn 3 and 4 there. Almost into the 05 is they're going to have to make it work down here into turn 1. That Spell's under fire.
Yeah, he is struggling with that car right now as Joe Ogle passes him on the inside, and the 01 of Underwood tried to make it 3 wide, but backs it out. And Jeffrey Spells is running wide. He is pushing wide, just struggling to find some grip up there. And the guys behind him are taking advantage as they go 3 wide to make the pass. Crazy racing back here.
Really crazy here.
Is Penelope pit stop and Muttley running? Because this is definitely some wacky racing going on here in this group. Everyone's switching positions, everyone running it for as hard as they can. You would think this is the front group.
You want to see what it's like? Here it is. We're riding on board with Reno on his visor cam. Look at the 21 Johnson on the outside here. You watch just how easy you have to be on the throttle here, getting off of turn number 2 so you don't get in the door of the 21. That's going to open the door up for the 74 of Steinhoff behind him. The 05 checks up, and now they're going to be 2x2 again.
I do not want to go away from any of this as Austin Johnson gives a little peek there. He was about to go to the middle, backs out of it, and Reno is trying to make the pass on the 05 there. That is Clayton Cyrus. Does so nicely.
Right now, we're watching around position number 16, 17, 18, but you wouldn't think that based on how hard they are racing each other. And you got to give a shout to the driver of that number 22 Racine, Aviator Alex Reno. He has just been hot all night. He's been working his tail off, trying to keep that car going in the right direction, and hopefully his efforts will pay off tonight. Meanwhile, back up front, Charles Gray still running up front in that Chuck E. Cheese machine. Right behind him, West the Mess now in 2, and Bay Area Bugs, your top 3.
Well, good news is that Graham does not have damage on the car where he's not able to maintain speed. The toe's not knocked out of that thing. He's able to hold on to it. He's actually been increasing his lead on the 81 there and pulling him alongside or along up there with himself to the 87 of Gray. And now they're just less than a half a second away.
Now, some other stories here, Jeff. Favignano 3 laps down. You got Ryan Steinhoff 2 laps down, Robert Webb a lap down. So those guys are going to be fighting for lucky dogs and positions. Not sure what happened to Favignano to go 3 laps down. Probably involved in both of those wrecks. But uncharacteristic for that 67 car for sure.
Yeah, it's not the night that he wanted to have so far. Was going into it being the 4th in points, but right now starting on the pole and maintaining that lead, now down to 22nd.
22nd is definitely not where he wants to be right now. He wants to try to get some laps back, and the only way it may happen is 1, either with some strategic pit stops, or 2, with more yellow flags. We've only seen 3 yellow flags, so far I've been made a liar out of, but anything can happen. Anything can change in these short little tracks.
These last couple laps, I'm watching the times here. Charles Gray ran a 23 flat there to the 23.121 of Wes Graham. So Gray is the fastest car on the track right now, but he's actually slowed up quite considerably since the start of that restart. And we're seeing Graham right now 0.38 back, and he's reeling him in.
These guys are pretty happy to be single file for now. They know that some craziness could start to happen in the next couple of laps as these guys are running some quick ones, and they'll be catching up to that backfield that's just been fighting and tussling back here.
Oh, absolutely. And these guys right now, I think the conservative driving is on purpose. You don't want to get too far out of line. You don't want to have to fight with anybody. You don't want to have to figure out, what to do if your car gets messed up, especially with such a lead on this field. Now, they last went in for tires around lap 35 when we had that first caution flag between 25 and 35. So they're going to be starting thinking about green flag pit stops here soon, somewhere between lap 80 and 95. That will change the perspective of this race, and it could even change the perspective of some of these drivers.
I was watching there on board with Clint Spells. He did not look at the 81 charging hard into that corner there. But yeah, Clint Spells is not shifting compared to these guys up here. We ride on board with let's ride on with Graham here and see how he's getting through the corners here. It doesn't look like he's shifting either. So a lot of guys taking a much more conservative approach to the race, and I think that's the reason why they're up front.
So Gray, Graham, Bugs remain your top 3 up front. To get collectively, they've got almost 3 seconds over the 94 Tyler Schultz, the 4 of Ryan Beaver and company, or Bearder and company.
They're wrecking.
And now we're wrecking.
Caution is out.
And that was right around that hornet's nest. We saw Nick Gould, unfortunately, getting the worst of it in the 14. After having such an incredible night, starting in the top 10, having speed, getting caught in the back here in 20th. And, well, we're going to find out what just happened here in a few moments, but I don't think it was by himself.
He got loose out the corner and actually did by himself.
Oh, he was by himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember he was back there by the 86, so I thought maybe they had some side-by-side. Yeah, there's the 14. Just got loose off the corner, tried to save it. Outside wall, locked it up. That's a hard lick of the outside wall there. Might damage that right front. Comes down in front of the 20 of Orendorff.
Oh,
Nowhere for him to go. That's going to be damage to the 20. And he did not want to have to do. And the 14 is on pit road. Joe?
so the caution flag now comes out for the 4th time tonight. And this is actually right in the window. This is right kind of where they want to be. Let's see who comes down and gets some brand new virtual Goodyear Racing Eagles and a whole full tank of Sunoco digital racing fuel.
And we'll take you down to Tony. Tony, what's going on pit road?
Well, it looks like everybody's coming down. There's a couple of guys stayed out here just to get the wave around here, but I don't think anybody's going to be trying to stay out to gain position.
No, now is not the time to stay out for position. Now is the time to get those fresh tires, get that full tank of fuel, because the only way you're going to be able to race competitively on this track is with those brand new tires underneath you. Down and away, it will be Charles Gray leading him down. Bay Area Bugs picks up a position. Score Brandon Bugs, position number 2, and West MS comes out 3rd.
That was a good race off of pit road. Yeah, West just didn't get into a stall good enough there, and he lost a position out of that, but that's okay. He probably, maybe he wanted to do that. I don't know. Maybe he took his time getting out because, you know, if you're in 3rd, you're going to be on that inside lane, and we haven't seen a whole lot of guys doing that, really, but if you really...
are exactly right, Jeff.
Yeah, but you think about it, you don't want to be restarting on the outside, and if you take your time getting off the pit road, knowing those 2 guys are in front of you, that's going to automatically give you the inside lane, and I think that's what happened. Smart moves by the 88, and he did not take a fast repair, by the way, guys. He's hanging on to those.
Also another smart move, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is the smart move to play right now. That is definitely the move to make. If it's not damaged too much, if you can still drive it, hold on to those quick repairs. They're going to be like gold later on this race.
Well, guys, we're going to take our first break of the night. We'll be back with more action here at Richmond in just a few. And welcome back under the lights once again at Richmond Raceway here in Virginia, where we have seen absolutely nothing but crazy racing, and the cautions, well, they came a little earlier than we thought, didn't we?
But still, you know what? I've still had fun watching this so far. It hasn't been obnoxious with the cautions like some of the races we've had in the past. So at least they've gotten some good racing and some good green flags in.
I have to agree. Do you think we can get through an entire Let's Get Loud segment without them crashing?
I think we're jinxing them with that, but let's do it.
We're going to try.
Let's get it going.
Rolling good in front of you, rolling real good.
Watching right here. Look at the battle for the lead. That is West the Mess on the inside of the 87 of Charles Gray, side-by-side action.
Great side-by-side driving as they continue to run. Low line should have the advantage. West drives it down low. He wants it. He wants to make the pass. Not will he be able to do so on the quad oval, Ryan.
Big junk. Big junk back here. Wow. We're going to find out what happened. Yeah, 5 cars involved in a crash. It looks like it came off of turn number 3 here. Oh, man, yeah. That might have been some
checked up big time.
That might have been some netcode, too.
No, Joel Brown was like crazy slow. Look at this, though.
Wow.
I'm going to see what happened to Joel Brown there.
Yeah, not sure why he slowed up so much there, getting into 3. But that sent off a chain reaction here to the 13, hard on the inside, into the 26 of Guzman. That's Orendorff into the outside wall. Then look at the 22 piling it in. The 01 of Clayton Cyrus into the 13. I know it looks like no one's hitting the brakes here, but, I mean, it just happened so fast right in front of them.
I think there was some internet ghosts or demons there because he basically, I'm watching Joel Brown, he blinks, connection issue, and then just reappears doing 2 miles an hour. So, not his fault. Internet issues. My gosh, that sucks.
Trying to find Mr. Joel Brown here. He's not on my radar at all. He's off of it.
He has dropped out of the race, sir.
Okay, that's why he's not showing up. Here he is right here. We'll see exactly what we were just talking about. There's the 43 right here, getting into the corner of turn 1. He's blinking really hard, and he's gone. And then he shows up, and then there's the crash that happens right afterwards. Yeah, he just came out of nowhere there. And, yeah, that's going to be it for him as he is off the track right now. So we got through the Let's Get Loud segment, which was awesome. But it was short-lived by the caution that was thrown, well, because of the crash involving 5 different cars we saw there. But out front, Wes the Mess, Mr. Wes Graham hangs on to it. Gets the pass done. When the caution came out, he did have the position, and he will be scored the leader right now.
And Joel Brown will go ahead and pull that Garnier Finesse number 43 machine behind the wall for the night, apologizing to everybody, saying that he had some connection issues that caused that big accident. So, you can't control that. It's like, having a bad engine you didn't know that you had, and it just blows up in the middle of the race, or losing a lug nut, the single lug nut now. You can't control it. It is what it is, and merrily we will go along as Graham, Gray, Bugs, and now Bearder.
Well, the difference is that, it's sim racing, Joe, and in the real world, you have to pay for that with the penalty of making those mistakes. This is out of their hands, so fortunately, they don't get a penalty for having those problems. They have wheels and PCs and everything else, and sometimes those go astray and they cause problems for you. Not what you would deal with in the real world, but here in the virtual sense. And we're seeing that rear its ugly head, especially right there for the 43, unfortunately.
You know what, Jeff? All that being said, we've been pretty fortunate this year and this season. We haven't seen too many technical issues with the guys on the track. Not too many VR headsets disconnecting or internet dropping completely, unless you're Aaron Beaver, because then that's just standard for the race. But even his has been better. So we've been fortunate enough that it's been few and far between to have these internet issues.
Is Aaron Beaver still on the McDonald's Wi-Fi? That's what I heard last race, is he was still using McDonald's Wi-Fi.
I don't see him here tonight, so he might be having issues.
The McDonald's might be closed.
Burger King Wi-Fi, even worse.
I don't mean to break in, boys, but we're going to see a little bit different restart here. Wes is going to take the start on the inside, but he's going to move the group up the track some to try to take away some of that advantage that the leader's getting with this restart zone.
All right, well, we're going to see exactly that as we go green flag racing once again here at Richmond.
Wes the Mess, Wes Graham leads the field down, and it's now going to be the 81 of Brandon Bugs fighting for position number 2. Can he hold on through turns 1 and 2? It's a drag race down the backstretch.
You see there 2x2 back there with Tyler Schultz and Clint Spells as well. But you got Bugs and Gray fighting for that P2 up front.
Yep,
and they are side by side.
And you see the difference between the lines there and the 81. When you're on the bottom, you give up so much because you don't want to hit the guy on the outside. You got to jump out of the throttle. You got to drive the car, without running into the person on the outside. The outside lane, you kind of have that advantage over the 81, getting into turn 1 there, and it worked out in his favor.
So Graham now building his lead on the rest of the field, 0.62 seconds over Graham. Bugs gets really wide going into 3 and 4. Not sure what happened there. Might have made contact with the wall. He will lose 1, maybe 2 positions as a result.
I think he's fighting with that car right now. It looks like he's just not able to put the power down as well as some of these other guys are, like the 86 of Lance getting around the 81 there, and he was sideways off that corner. That's why he lost that position there to the 87. The 14 of Gould around.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Oh, big trouble on the back.
Yeah, it was the 01. Yeah, the 01 clobbered the wall. I'm not sure what happened there. That was a weird one.
Good. I thought it was going to be single car spin, no big deal. And then 01 maybe didn't slow up in time. And
we'll see here. We got our beer goggles on there. Here he is off the corner, sideways. I'm not sure. Here's the 01 in the picture on the left-hand side. He's getting off the corner here. He does the exact same thing the 14 did. Exact same thing. Hard crash into the inside wall. That's going to be a lot of damage for him.
Oh, that is going to be a quick repair.
Well, there you go. There's the 14. And we will keep an eye and let you know what's going on with Donald Underwood. He's coming on pit road right now. He did not have to tow. He's able to get that car back there. And that's the nice thing about these next-gen cars, with the new damage model iRacing put in here. If it wasn't that bad, well, you can drive it back to pit road with having to tow.
That was a pretty hard crash. In all seriousness, I am surprised he's able to limp that thing back down to pit road. Good news for him. He won't have to wait on the tow. He'll be able to get that quick repair. And interesting news for the rest of the field. Bugs now dropped from 2nd to 4th. Is he going to be able to make up some time here on this restart?
Yeah, I'm thinking he is. I mean, we saw him sliding the car all over the place, and that's, indicative of using that right front tire so much, sliding it across the track. And if you do it too many times, you can really wear it out to the fact it won't be there for when you need it. And on this restart, he might be really struggling with the car since, it hasn't been that many laps afterwards for that to kind of wear more evenly. All right, so short track racing under the lights. Jay, it's your first time watching one of these broadcasts, and you're actually in here and getting to see it all come down. What do you think of, you've seen Daytona in real life. I've gone to the tracks with you like that. But seeing it in a virtual sense and seeing it in a short track, is it as entertaining to you as the super speedway?
Oh, yeah, it absolutely is. These guys are doing virtually, 150 to 160 miles an hour, and they're ducking in and out of each other. And, they're 2-3 wide across these short track doing those speeds, and I can't get up to the speed limit on the I-4. So it's an impressive feat here on iRacing.
Couldn't even get it up to the speed on I-4 there.
Yeah, right. I've seen your car. Now, Jay, have you driven in a sim rig at all?
I have not. It's something that's piqued my interest. Down the road, I might partake in a season or two.
I hear if you slap Jeff Favignano a tenner,
I'm a bad friend. I'm a bad friend. I have a racing rig. If you ever want to do it, well, I'm leaving here shortly, but if you ever want to do it, it's definitely a lot of fun to do for sure. That's Jay, joined by myself, Civ Ryan, and Joe Cortez, and we're calling the shots here tonight. We've seen a lot of great racing, sim racing. We never try to make you believe this is anything but, because we're seeing that happen. We saw Joel Brown having the connection issues. We've seen some other guys having some problems. And sometimes, something we don't talk about a lot of is getting that fatigue, especially with virtual racing like this sim racing. You're kind of a tunnel vision looking forward, and when you're spinning around a small track like this, you start to get dizzy after a while. If you even look in your peripherals, you'll start seeing things on the walls kind of moving around and stuff. So it can be very disorienting for you as a sim racer.
Our leader has chosen the outside for this restart, boys.
Oh, there you go. And lights are off on that pace car. We'll be going green here.
All right, Ryan, you got the call.
I got the call. My turn. Here comes Wes Graham. He's even counting it down for him to keep it clean. I heard it over the radio. Nice job there, showing some respect for the field. And he's having no problems. I know he said he had damage there. He's having no issues with that car.
Brandon Buggs got around the 87, no problem there, and he'll take the second spot away.
I was going to say, damage is a very relative term at these short tracks, but we'll get into that later as Wes MS continues to lead. He will take up position number 1. Brandon Buggs right behind him, and don't count out Charles Gray. He is still driving hard in that Chuck E. Cheese Chevy Camaro.
Side-by-side action back here. That's Donald Underwood. We saw him have that issue. Came down pit road, used the fast repair. We got a car sideways. It's Schultz in the 94 around.
Schultz?
And I think the 91 at Webb tried to avoid him. I don't think he made contact with him. It didn't look like here. He just kind of spun on his own. So we'll see the same thing we've been seeing all night. We were talking about it. Turn number 2 being really tricky getting off the corner. There's the 94 just not able to do a whole lot with it there. Gets the car absolutely sideways here. The 91 was already in the wall here. Let's see what happened right here. The 91 did the same thing. Just right behind him. Exact synchronized swimming right here. And the 94 really tried to hang on to it here. Just, it's so hard to woe it up. The 91 got in the wall, but a great job by the 94 of Schultz. He will not have damage to that car. He'll be able to stay out there. I'm sure Graham's not happy about that, though. And they were just saying, take it easy, guys. And what happens? Well, no one took it easy. But can you blame them?
Just getting a little excited off that corner. Get a little too much gas. And she got loose.
We got to talk about Sargent. He's up in the mix in points. You know, second in points right now. Behind Graham, he's having a heck of a night here tonight. You know, early on had some issues there. Ran in the 17th position after starting second. Right now, guys, he's in P5 right now. Sorry, after starting third. But he's in P5, so he's back in the mix.
Just saw the 67 there of Fodorero getting his lap back. So he'll be your lucky dog. And he'll be back on lead lap after this. So he was 3 laps down, able to stick it in. That sounded bad. Able to stick it out. And good on him for keeping the car on the track. And he'll be back on lead lap after this.
Yeah, he's used 1 fast repair out of 2, so he does have 1 more remaining. But, you know, when it comes to drivers and getting it done, the 67 of Fodorero, Leo knows how to do pit strategy, and he's really good at damage control. Like, if he gets caught up in a crash, he'll make those decisions on pit road, and you'll find him back in the top 10.
But time's about to start running out. We are scoring lap 90 of 200 here in the Commonwealth Clash 200 at Richmond, formerly International, or Richmond International Raceway, now just Richmond Raceway. We're almost halfway through. And now you have to start thinking about, what do I do in this situation? What do I do as the situation passes? And what do I do to start moving up throughout this field and into the winning position ultimately?
Well, this is the Commonwealth Classic 200. We're in Richmond, Virginia here tonight. We have a lot more racing here to go, as on July 21st next week, Dover Motor Speedway, things are going to be getting more, they're going to be getting more intense because the final race is at Charlotte on the 28th. And, man, at Dover, they're going to have to make some decisions there to try to stay up there in the top of the points to have contention for the championship before crowning themselves the champion on Charlotte. But, man, we do have a great run going into these next 2 weeks. And it's anybody's guess right now who could win it. But right now, I like the 88. I like what he's put together this entire season as a whole. And I think he's got he's definitely going to be one of the main guys to watch in this championship.
Oh, absolutely. You know, with such a tight championship battle right now, every point matters. Every position matters. And as we get to the halfway point, as we get to the cross flags, you know, each of these guys, Sargent, Buggs, Graham, they all know it. It's all in the back of their minds. Are they actively pursuing it? Not yet. But once we hit lap 100, the pressure is going to turn up, and these guys are going to have a lot of fighting between them for every point available.
having issues with Discord and getting some robot-y things happening as well, and Ryan having some issues as well. So those demons are definitely here. We're going to be green flag racing once again. The 88's a control car, and off he goes. 2x2 behind him. Green flag back in the air.
Wes the Mask picks up the lead once again on that low side. Bugs on the high side. He's going to try to run the high side through turns 1 and 2. Successful, but will it cost him some position? It's a 2x2 train into 3 and 4.
Charles Gray got such a great run through 2, and he was able to maintain that momentum on the backstretch, side by side of the stripe. Down into turn 1 for second. The heat is on, but here's the 86 of Lance. He's found himself back up in the mix, and he's there.
He is there, and he is fighting, and all 3 of your main points contenders are fighting now for position number 2. Bugs able to hold him off on the outside, could hurt him, though, as those tires will burn off a little bit harder. Gray sending it down low. It's a drag race through the front tri-oval and into turns 1 and 2.
87 washed up a little bit there. Didn't get the run he wanted off of turn number 2. That's going to give the advantage to the 81. The 81 squirrely, but he's able to hang on to it. And now the 81 will be in a better position here. But look at the 48 of Sargent. We're riding on board with him here. He's up in the mix, and this is for points, folks. You got Wes leading. You got the 81 in third in points, and you got the 48. So the battle between the 48 and the 81 right now is quite intense.
As Gray will officially take position. No, he will not officially take position number 2. He's still fighting for it. And that 48 Nerds Chevrolet Camaro wants to get that point back. Remember, there's only 1 point right now between Bugs and Sargent. 1 point divides them for the second position in this points championship with 2 more races left to go. Whoever walks away with a higher position tonight is going to have a big advantage going into next week.
And when we talk about points in those positions, every position on the track has a point. And, you know, you're seeing it right here. That's the 81. As they run right now, that means that the 81 of Brandon Bugs is in the second position in points compared to the 48. So they are absolutely in real time fighting for those positions.
Oh, am I back? Hello?
You are back. Welcome back, sir.
What is going on?
Logging back in. We're watching right here. The 81 and 48 literally fighting for that 1 point between the two right now. The caution comes out.
Oh, Underwood.
Yeah, hard lick into the outside wall there. And we're going to find out what happened here. But I think the 91 was there. Might have been part of that one. Let's see. Well, they kind of got together. Looks like it was actually Donald Underwood. They just got tight. And yeah, ran right into Webb. Nothing Webb can do about that. He's just like, really, man? You're coming up? You're coming? It's like almost when you're on the highway and you're like, you're coming into my lane, man. This is my lane. And then bam. That's what we just saw happen right there. And we're going to ride on board with Robert Webb, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about here. They are getting off the corner. 01, I think he thought he was clear, and he wasn't. Just nowhere Webb can go.
Super slow, too.
What I think happened was I think he just overdrove it coming off of turn number 4, and the car naturally started to drift to the outside, and unfortunately nowhere to go for the 91. He just gets right in the middle of the thick of that, and that's going to hurt him. Cross flags out this time by. We have passed the halfway point, and guys, your top 3 in points now represent the top 4.
Look at that. I mean, yeah, you got Graham, Bugs, you got Sargent up there. Foderero's in 4th in points right now, and Aria's getting another lap back, so he will be a lucky dog, and he will be back in the mix again. Robert Webb and Donald Underwood are the only 2 cars that are down a lap here. But we saw a little bit of that damage happen to the 88, but it has not hurt his car at all. He has not used any fast repairs. He has 2 of them, and he's thinking in the long run, hey, I got a championship to win here. I got points I got to maintain. And it's not easy when you see the 81, the 48 having a good night as well.
Not particularly, no. But again, with your top 3 in points, this close and this hard, fighting this hard, the talent of this league really has risen to the top. It has really showed us what these guys can do, how they're capable of doing it, and where they're capable of running. It really is a cool thing watching them make this work. And I'm excited to see what happens for the second half of this race.
And this has been Wes's season, man. I mean, this season he's just been absolutely on fire, getting those consistent finishes, getting the wins. And right now he's in contention to win tonight, which is huge for him. I mean, he's really put his mark in this season, and he's really come to get grips with this next gen car. A lot of guys have had problems with it. We've seen the 81 scream about. We've seen the 87 scream about this car. Don't like the car. It's not right with this track combo. Blah 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 blah. But here they are in the top 5, over and over and over again. So, do you call it attrition? Or you call it luck?
You know, for Bugs in particular, I call it Tuesday, because every time you hear him, every time you see him out here, he's always complaining about the car. Hate the car, hate the track. But guess what? He's always in the top 3. You know something's wrong if he's happy with the car. You know something is very wrong if he's satisfied with what it's doing. So to hear him complain means he's having fun in the car. It means he's doing all right, and he is figuring it out quickly on this track. For the rest of them, I think it's a matter of smart driving. I think it's a matter of being patient. And as the cautions start to pick up in the second half of the race, I think it's a matter of them just being able to navigate everything and make the moves that they need to in order to win. Remember, you can't win this race on lap 104. You've still got 97 left to go.
And we see the 81. You know, that font of the numbers there is just swapped of the 18 of Kyle Busch. You know, Bug's a fan of Kyle Busch, and there's a lot of his driving style that's in there. And like you said, you know, if you're unhappy with the car, it means that you're doing well. And well, we're seeing that out of the 81 this season. And right now, he'll be starting right there behind Graham in the 3rd position on this restart.
Shout out to the thumbs up Kyle Busch gif.
Yes.
See, my favorite GIF is the boohoo, but we're back to green flag racing here on lap 105. And once again, Wes the Mess up front, Bugs now on his back bumper, Gray on the outside, trying to fight for that 2nd position.
Bugs got a great run off of 2 there, and he's at the back bumper, the 88. He's going to be challenging him for the lead here in a few. Remember, he got that win just last week at Atlanta.
Charles Gray not going anywhere, though. He's going to be sticking his nose in anywhere he can to try and get that P2 back.
Doing everything he can, trying to get position number 2 back. Let's ride on board with him as we see him just right now trailing the 81 of Brandon Bugs, just following in his footsteps, trying to hold off Nick Sargent while waiting to see if Bugs is going to make a mistake out there. It's going to be tough. We'll see what happens.
Everybody in line, and that's the 4 of Robert Bearder in front of him. The 81 makes a mistake in 2. This is going to open up the door here for the 87 to get to the bottom.
That is all it takes, a slight mistake by the guy in front of you to capitalize. But Bugs is not giving that position up just yet. It ain't over as he's staying strong on that middle line with Chuck on the inside. Great battle for 2.
Yeah, you saw the 81 getting really squirrely there on that last run, but this time he's taking, well, he gets a little loose there on entry to 3. But I was just saying, he was getting more smooth on the wheel, and he knows his battle isn't with the 87, it's with the 48 right now.
And the 48 is right behind him. The 48 is reeling him in. The 48 is going to continue to be on his bumper, just daring him to make a mistake, daring him to overdrive, daring him to try to figure out what lane he wants to go to. And when that happens, Sargent is going to try to take advantage of it. There it is. There's the wiggle. And Sargent not able to take advantage that time but I've got a feeling he is just biding his time, waiting for that moment.
That's tandem drifting. The 48, he did the exact same mistake as the 81 did. The 81 on the wall right there. So both these guys struggling with these tires.
It is. We've had a lot of cautions tonight, and Jeff, you know this better than anyone.
Jeff, you know it better than everyone, apparently.
I do, and he just dropped straight out of the call with that. But with the cautions, I don't know what he was going for that one. I mean, I try not to cause cautions. I'm watching the 14 right now, and I apologize to him for my mistake on Monday. I did get into him in turn number 3 on entry to 3, but
Ryan, take us through. What does Jeff know better than anybody else?
Oh, he's just gonna cut me off again, stupid Discord. I was gonna say about short track rhythm, how important it is, and you can't get that rhythm with all these cautions.
Yes, that is very true. You can't get your rhythm down. You need at least like 25, 30 laps before you get that rhythm down and know what you're doing. The Ford Bearder right now trying to stay on the lead lap here the hard way, and that is racing the 88. This is exactly what Gray and Bugs want to see. They want somebody on the back, on the back line trying to fight for their last position, and that's going to use up everything on the 88 right now.
Yeah, Bearder's not fighting too hard. He's fighting just hard enough to make it hard on the 88 to force him to use some stuff up, but it didn't fight him too hard. Took 2 laps to get around, and now Gray and Bugs have to do the same, navigate around the mountains of New Jersey, number 4, to start catching up to Graham, who's now picking up a second and more on them.
I was watching the 48 there. And the 48 and the 81 are driving pretty identical lines and making the same mistakes while doing it.
I'm scared to talk in case it cuts me off again, so with Discord. So
you're good. I hear you.
Oh, they're
and the caution comes out.
Caution's out.
You jinxed them. Nick Gould, the 14 again.
Oh.
Not.
Come on there, bud. Get it going.
Yeah, your fellow Canadian can't keep it going.
You look like a friggin' hoser out there, bud.
I think he was battling for that position. You see his brakes there all lit up. Then off of turn number 2, we've seen it all night. Just getting to the gas a little too early than others. Right in front of Foderero. Nowhere to go. Damage to the 67 off of that one. Looks like he was able to get it slowed down enough to where it wasn't too bad, though. But, oh, man, splitting the difference there. That got scary. So Nick Gould's going to have to do that. But Wes Graham and leaders are on pit road there, Tony.
Yeah, the 86 car decided to stay out. I don't know if he missed the entrance or what, but he is definitely staying out.
Knowing that 86, I don't think that was a mistake. I think that is a play for track position, and he's done that before in the past, and I think we're going to see him doing it again tonight. So if you're going to try to win this race, that's what you got to do right now, and Lance knows how to do that.
Meanwhile, pit road picking up everybody and their mother coming down to get the 4 brand new virtual Goodyear Eagles and full tank of Sunoco digital racing fuel. Down and away, it will be Wes the Mess out first. The 88 will stay in position number 1. Coming out in position number 2, Charles Gray, followed by Brandon Bugs.
And Nick Sargent right behind him had a good stop. And then Clint Spells. Clint Spells started 10th. He's been up to second by staying out earlier on. And he's been back to 20th, but right now he's fought all the way back to 11th. So what a great run. We've seen nothing but good things out of this driver this entire season compared to previous ones. And, you got to give credit when it's due. And look at Clint Spells here in the top 10.
How about, maybe my timing screen isn't updating. Is Tyler Schultz in P2 right now, or is he in pits?
Yes, he is in P2.
How about that?
Yeah, these guys here, you see Jason Lance, he stayed out. Tyler Schultz did, and so did Clayton Cyrus. The only ones who came down pit road was Wes Graham on back.
I'm seeing that now. Yeah, you're right. Tyler Schultz on 27 laps on those tires. Jason Lance, your leader, 17 laps. And Clayton Cyrus on 15. So your top 3 drivers are on old garbage digital racing crappy tires. So this is going to be an interesting start, to say the least. I'm nervous.
Ryan, those would be technically crappy digital racing Goodyear Eagles.
I'm sorry, I didn't trademark it correctly.
No, you didn't. No, you did not. The sponsor will not be happy.
Yeah, it's a digital sponsor. It's not real.
You can't cram that down people's throats. Come on now.
No, but you can't cram down people's throats. A nice
Thrustmaster in the top left corner of your screen. Thrustmaster.
Not the Hero National.
Yeah. Oh, is that what you were gonna say?
That's what he was gonna say.
That's where I was going with it. I was going into a Hebrew National ad, but you cut me off.
You can't say that.
Say what?
You know what you're saying.
Oh, I know very well what I'm saying, and I want to get that hot dog tonight.
Sponsors are not gonna be happy.
No, my sponsors won't be.
How come we're not sponsored by your or who you work for or your company?
Joe Cortez Industries?
Yes.
We can talk about that.
All right. Give us the logo.
Okay. Next, you know what? Charlotte. Well, I will personally put money down for Charlotte.
All right. I'm not sure we can get that in there in time because I'm not sure how to manipulate the files to do so.
Just call it the Joe Cortez Hebrew National, whatever, how many ever miles it is.
All right. So like instead of the Commonwealth Classic 200, you said it's the Joe Cortez
Yeah.
Hebrew National.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
All right. We're racing
now,
again.
We're racing.
At
Hebrew National Classic 200. Okay. Okay.
Hebrew.
The Hebrew National 200. All right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Hebrew National Classic?
We're back green flag. Look at this paddle back here. It did not work out in the 05's favor. Look at Wes Graham up to second right now. After passing those guys, look at, oh no! Charles Gray in trouble.
3 wide with Favignano.
Favignano, that's for position. That's in the 8th right now.
Meanwhile, up front, Lance continues to stay ice cold in that icy machine. Wes the Mess starting to hunt him down. Wes is at better tires than Jason Lance, and it's only a matter of time before Graham spears him and puts him back towards the field. Schultz in third, Bugs fourth, Sargent rounding out your top 5. Guys, can anybody stop Wes the Mess from picking up this win tonight?
It's hard to say. He's been on fire. I'm watching right around Clint Spells here in 7th, but Tyler Schultz right now under fire from the 48 of Nick Sargent, and that's the 67 of Favignano. Favignano doesn't want to mess around either. He's right in line with the 40, but look at how much faster he is on entry.
He is just burning it up on entry, but the problem is he's got so much traffic around him. He is so stuck in that group. There's no way for him to get around. He's gonna have to wait for somebody or force somebody to make a mistake. Meanwhile, up front, changing the lead, it will be Graham taking away from Lance. There's 2 cars now down on the apron. It's Charles Gray, and behind him, the Texaco machine.
Clayton Cyrus.
Yep, Clayton Cyrus. They got together off of turn number 2 here. We'll show you what happened. Looks like Clayton Cyrus just gets loose. Off of 2 right there. Nothing Charles Gray can do. Comes right across his nose. And they lock it up, trying to get down to the inside. But right there, there's the impact. A lot of damage there to both drivers. They get it going straight again, but look at the left front on Charles Gray's car. That's bad. That's broken. That's real broken there. So he's going to have to come down pit road. Tough break for the 87 of Charles Gray.
He was running so strong all night long.
He's talked about it all season.
That's going to be a tough one to swallow, as he's going to have to come down pit road and to probably take one of those 2 quick repairs that he still has left in the garage.
You know, it's tough to swallow is those Hebrew National Classics.
Okay, someone come pick up these commentators. Get your kids. It's gone to hell. I was waiting for it.
You knew it was coming, didn't you?
I knew it was coming.
We set it up just for you.
Bunch of degenerates in this booth, I tell you.
Well, that's the Joe Cortez Hebrew National Classic 200. It's sponsored by Thrustmaster, Next Level Racing, and FRN here at Richmond Raceway in Virginia.
But while we have a moment to plug the sponsors, Ryan, you were talking earlier about you guys are running a charity race here.
Yep.
Pretty
Yeah,
soon.
we're raising money to give hot dogs to the people. No, we're doing MS Society charity race tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Watch it on your lunch break if you're on the West Coast. But we're raising money for the MS Society. It's an official iRacing event. We were the top team last year. Out of nowhere, did not expect it, and we are hoping to do another good showing too. So come on out. Got a couple bucks just to donate to a good cause. Feel free. But I'll be broadcasting that live on my YouTube channel. Thanks for that, Joe.
And Ryan, if for those of us who can't make that the show, where can they donate? How can they donate and help the cause?
The MS Society website. There is an official. The link. I was not prepared for this. If you follow iRacing on Twitter, they've been posting up all the links and stuff there, so you can go through there. But I believe it's MS Society. I'll have to look up that link. Hang on. Put me on the spot.
Well, they're running out of time. It'll be, 60 laps here shortly when we go back green flag racing. Probably 59 to go. So
70.
running out of time. 70?
You're 10 laps short.
Oh, okay. 69 then. That's what it'll be. But
it'll be 71 when we get to the line, 70 when we get back to green flag racing.
Oh, okay.
And then when they cross the line, it'll be 69. Nice.
Okay, I got you. So 70 total.
We're scoring lap 129, so we've got 72. When we score lap 130, it'll be 71. And when we score lap 131, it'll be 70.
Well, math is hard.
Math is very hard. That's why I don't do it.
If you guys are looking for any graphics that you see here on screen, that's Flat Out Racing Network. You see right there. FRN are the ones that have done that. So if you want to get it done for your league or anything you need there, hit them up on Twitter or somewhere, and they can get it done for you. That's who does all of our graphics here on the OCRP iRacing Cup Series and Truck Series. Be sure to check out West the Mess 88 on twitch.tv for the Monday broadcast. But side by side, lights are off with the pace car. We're going to be green flag racing next time by. Control car is Wes Graham, but have a look there at 86 and Lance is hanging on to it on the outside.
Side by side they go in one more time. 70 to go when we cross the start-finish line into the Geico restart zone. West the Mess hits the loud pedal, and we're back to green flag racing. Huge jump for him, and now it'll be Brandon Buggs on the back end of that train, 2x2 through turns 1 and 2.
Keep an eye on that 67. Favignano got a great run off of turn 2 up to P4 right now. You know, he was the one that got the pole today, was up there. Unfortunate events pushed him to the back, but now through attrition, he's back up in the mix.
And the Army keeps rolling along as you see Steinhoff there now in the mix, all in the back of the number 6 of Spells. Side by side, everyone's trying to figure out where they fit in this mold, where they fit in this picture. Still a low lane trying to form as everybody scrambling for position, knowing time is running out.
Oh, looks like Ryan has dropped again, but we have side-by-side action right here. The 67 of Favignano to the inside of the 81, and he's setting his sights on the 88 of Graham. With the 81 fight on the outside, and he's the preferred lane in 3 and 4 right here, so he's going to drive it up next to the wall. But they're still side-by-side.
They're still side by side. It looks like Buggs is doing everything he can to try to hold on to that momentum, trying to be able to fight off Favignano, because he knows once that U.S. Army Chevrolet Camaro gets past him, he's going to have a very hard time. As Spells now on the inside, the snap-on Ford Mustang goes sideways, saves it. We're still green flag racing.
What a save by the 6 of Clint Spells. Gets it gathered up, gets going again. Charles Gray not going to waste any time. 3 wide down into turn 1.
Still trying to save it, still trying to hold on to position, but who knows how loose that 6 is going to be. Meanwhile, back up front, Favignano has dispatched Buggs from position number 2. Score him now, position number 2, as he looks to try to take the 5th win of the season away from West the Mess.
Let's watch how he gets down into turn 1. You see West doing a more shallow approach to the entry. The 67 of Favignano really charging that entry down to the bottom and getting a good run off the back. But look at the difference there in speed. And they're pretty much identical in turns 3 and 4. And I'm not seeing anybody shifting there.
At this juncture, with the tires the way they are, I don't think they're going to be shifting just right this second. I think they're going to let the tires warm up, get a little wear on them as everyone came down last time during the last yellow flag. I think at this juncture, they're just going to start getting some wear on those tires before they start messing around with that transmission. Or they may not need to, depending on who's around them and when we have another restart. Graham, Favignano, Buggs, Sargent, and Lance, your top 5.
An incredible race that Wes Graham has put together here tonight once again, but man, he's going to have his hands full here shortly, as that is the 67 of Favignano. He is there, and he's going to be challenging for the lead here shortly.
Graham all over the back bumper. Now, here's a funny little thing as Civ Ryan comes back from getting my hot dog out of the booth, my Hebrew National hot dog, I should say. Graham and Favignano both have 4 wins on the season. Both of these guys are incredible competitors, but Graham is in the lead. If Favignano can win tonight over Graham, that might catapult him back into this mix. But it's going to be a very interesting competition to see who ends up at getting the fifth win of the season tonight, if it's one of these two.
This is where Favignano is so good at stalking his prey and just, waiting for that mistake to happen. The 88's going to have to protect the inside over and over again. He's going to have to force that 67 to pass him on the outside, but it looks like it's not going to happen this time as the 67 got a great run off of 4.
I leave for 2 minutes because of Discord, and Favignano's P2.
Yeah, challenging for the lead right now with Graham.
That is, it ain't over till it's over. Defined right there, because he was 22nd, 3 laps down. Now he's battling for the lead.
Well, if you're the 88, or sorry, if you're the 81 right now, you're happy about this. That's Mr. Cortez contacting via email the CEO of Hebrew National.
I mean, look,
side by side.
I'm going to get paid somehow tonight. Somebody's paying me tonight.
This is incredible racing.
The battle continues. Graham on the low, or Graham high, Favignano low. Favignano just can't get that turn made. He can't get the pass made. He wants to. He's getting it deep in there as hard as he can, but he just doesn't have the horsepower. He cannot keep up with that Toyota Camry on the outside. But that's great news for Bugs and Sargent, who know just how critical this points battle is turning into.
Absolutely incredible. You're seeing Graham, Favignano, Bugs, and Sargent, all 4 of them, knowing that the time is running out in the season. They need to get the best they can. And look at the battle we have here between Favignano and Graham doing a great job of holding the 67 off there, forcing him to use that right front. We saw him pinch him down that low line over and over again. Wes using the outside lane to his advantage, and it worked out. I think he might have worn out that right front of the 67.
Well done there by Wes the Mess Graham to not give up that position, make him burn up his stuff, staying on the bottom line. But maybe Favignano just backed out and said, you know what, I'll get you later. We got time. I'll get you later.
The way they're charging into turn 1 and 2, I don't know. It looks like they're both going for it. They know they're going to have to make a pass here soon to get that clean air so the 67 can try to pull away, but he also knows, if he's going to continue and the caution comes out, it's going to change it all up.
Robert Webb.
Looks like Joe. Yep. Robert Webb backwards.
Yeah, single car. No one else involved.
All right, we'll find out what happened here in just a few moments. But the caution did come out, and that's going to change things up now. I think we're going to see guys come down pit road once again to get those fresh tires. Man, looks like the 91 just checked up real hard in front of Clint Spells, and that spelled disaster right there. So damage to the Andy's Frozen Custard Ford Mustang, as he'll have to come down pit road. But we're going to watch the leaders here. I think they have to come. We'll hear what Tony has to say. I think Tony's taking care of some racing administration.
Yeah, sorry about that, Jeff. Just letting the guys know.
You all good, man? What's going on pit road? Everybody going to come?
If I was a gambling man, I'd say everybody was going to come. This is going to be that last stop if they can run it out green. Everybody's going to get fresh tires and fuel and try to just go all the way to the end here.
Yep, you were not wrong. Everybody's on pit road. You got Wes, you got the 67. This is the money stop. You cannot make a mistake. You cannot get into your stall incorrectly. You can't back it up. It's going to hurt you big time. We'll see how all these guys do. Looks like everybody's able to get in their stalls. No problem there. And we might see some guys take some gambles here and get 2 tires. I don't think it's going to work in 50 laps, but I think we might see it happen here.
88 overshot it just a little bit. Had to back up. Sorry, Joe.
I was about to say that Wes MS might be in trouble here, as now the 81 gets around him. The 81 may have taken 2 tires instead of 4. He will come out as your leader.
That might have been an audible by him. Did he call 2 tires on pit road? That's possible.
I will confirm. I'll watch it back. Nope, 81 took 4.
There you go.
Then that was an incredible stop by his team to get those 4 tires and get out front. Brandon Buggs now leading for the first time tonight. The 88 of Wes the Mess had some trouble getting into his pit stop, as Tony was saying, forced to go backwards in order to back up and get it in. So I think he's now in position number 3 as a result.
Well, that was a great stop. That is incredible. That's going to put Buggs in a great position here. He'll be the control car on the restart, and he's gonna be able to control, how those guys are gonna race him. And I think if you're in the front, you're gonna want the bottom lane on the restart here, and you're just gonna have to block it. We've seen guys able to do stuff with the outside lane here, but on fresh tires on the bottom for 50 laps, I think you're in a good spot. But you're gonna have your hands full with the 67. But hopefully you want the 88 and 67 to be racing each other so hard that you're able to pull away.
Well, hey, Jeff, you know what time it is?
It is 10:33 p.m., but I would say that it's going to be time to get loud, maybe?
No, wrong. Completely wrong. It's time for Ryan to get his friends paid. Amazon Prime Gaming, you know what it is. Give it to Jeff right now. Do it. I'm not even asking. Do it. Prime Gaming sub. It's free to do. Give it to Jeff. Do it now.
Or if you happen to have $4.99 and lose change, you can also subscribe to Jeff Favignano's channel and get support and great entertainment like this all week long. You never know what's going to show up on Jeff Favignano's channel. It's an easy subscription, man. I'm subscribed. You should be too. Hit that sub button at the bottom of your screen to support Jeff Favignano and other independent entertainment creators here on the Twitch platform.
They're already revolting. They didn't like that. The Twitch chat. I'm sorry.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. That was very aggressive sales tactic.
Yeah, give it to Joe. There you go.
Hey,
The Joe Cortez Show.
Don't give it to the Joe Cortez Show. The Joe Cortez Show has to create content first.
Oh, that's true.
But once I create content, then give me your money. I'll take your money after I create content. Let me create something of value for you first.
All right, we're going to shut up here. I'm going to watch the 81 control this restart into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air.
Everything is rolling really good.
Brandon Buggs with an incredibly clean restart there. He will continue to lead with 2 of the best drivers behind him, each of them fighting to take the lead in wins this season. Favignano on the outside gets around Wes Graham. It's a battle for position number 2.
Everybody made it through turns 3 and 4. Okay, I don't see any red on the board, and they're going to continue down into turn 1. The 81's got his hands full with the 67. Going to force the 67 to utilize the outside lane. That's been working out for him really well here. Let's see if he can change something up into turn 3.
Favignano now on the outside, challenging for position number 1. Bay Area Buggs on the inside, digging as hard as he can on that lower line. He had a great pit stop. Can he continue to drive incredibly great on the track through 1 and 2? They are still 2x2.
Have a look at the 48. And the caution comes out. Alex Reno involved.
Oh, Clint did not lock it down and got Reno.
Nice.
A lot of damage to that 22 Ford Mustang, and it is just showering sparks out of the back. We're going to find out what happened here shortly, but I'm pretty sure Favignano had the jump on the 81 there, and we'll see how things play out. But yeah, it looks like they made contact off of turn 2. Looks like it's one of those things where the 6 just gets tight there. The 22 kind of pinched him a little bit. It wasn't. I think the 6 was expecting the 22 to be about another car length up on him. But man, the 22 just didn't lift there. Just went into the 6 hard there. Tough break for those drivers.
Very hard break for those drivers. Those are 2 drivers who have been fighting all night long for position, and now here they are getting involved in another incident. We are 3/4 of the way done, and guys, it's still anybody's race up front.
It is. We saw great racing on that last restart there. Right before that caution came out. I'm sorry, Ryan, I jumped on you there. But the 48 of Sargent was up in the mix, and he was about to make a move for third and possibly even second. He was just waiting, there in the shadows. And man, just a really good points battle between these four.
Oh, you didn't jump on me at all. You're good. Yeah, great battles up front, and all these guys for position or for points battle. Like you said, it is very close. Especially those guys needed Wes Graham to have a bad night, but so far he's holding strong in P3.
And well, all four of your points leaders now representing the top four on this field. It is, right now you have Favignano, who's fourth in points in first, Bugs third in points in second, Graham first in points in third, and Sargent second in points, rounding out your top four. The cream of the crop has risen. Now it's just a matter of who wants that cream the most, who wants to taste that luscious cream the most at the end of this race. That was a very unholy noise.
I just don't know. Someone pick up Joe Cortez.
Are you suggesting I can't be left unsupervised?
No, you definitely can't. You cannot.
Well, lights are on the pace car right now. Will be lights off on the pace car this time by, and they'll be 2x2. But as of right now, they're going to be 2 to go. And we're going to keep an eye on the points battle right now. And as they run, the 81 with the 88 between them doesn't really seem to count. So they need another car. A Johnston would be in the mix there to change things up. As of right now, from what I see, the 48 and the 81 should be tied for the second position in points right now.
Typing intensifies. Yep. They are, yeah. I can't believe Favignano. I can't believe Favignano is leading this race. I counted them out. I actually thought he parked the dang car when I saw that he was 3 laps down there. But he's up front. Like Cinderella story.
It's never a Cinderella story with him. He's an incredibly talented driver. He's one of those guys you cannot count out until the checkered flag has flown over the track, and he is going to prove it right now. He's still got a shot at winning this race, and with 40 laps to go, when we go back to green flag racing, guys, it is going to be an incredible finish.
Well, they are 2x2, lights off on the pace car through turns 3 and 4. Pace cars down and away. Will be green flag racing once again. The Geico restart zone.
Yeah, great start. Go ahead, Joe.
Through the restart zone they go, and it will be Favignano getting a big jump over Wes and Bugs. Nick Sargent still in the mix, though, as they clear 1 and 2. Ryan, you there?
I'm just watching. I don't know what to even say anymore because I'm watching Charles Gray back there trying to make a move on Ryan Steinhoff on the bottom line there. Steinhoff goes a little bit wide. It doesn't matter because there's another caution.
And I thought it was the 20.
Unspells.
Oh, he did an insta
toe.
Insta toe here. We'll find out what happened. Looks like he just gets into turn 1. Oh man, really hard into the pit road exit right there. So you see right here.
Yeah, he just loses control of that 6. The snap-on machine literally snaps into the end of the pit road wall, and that sends him on a ride, and that could very well be the end of his night.
Yeah, back's in the wall. There's gonna be damage there. He's used to his fast repairs already. He has what he has, but that's a lot of damage on the left front there. You can see how broken that tire is, and that whole wheel assembly there. I don't think he's gonna be able to do anything with it. That's the end for him, unfortunately.
Another one bites the dust.
Well, this is taking a little bit of a turn now. We can talk about heat cycles and heating everything up, cooling it back down, heating it up, cooling it back down. It does affect the tire wear. It affects how these cars restart and the performance out of them. Robert Webb going to take the lucky dog. On the outside there, getting a lap back. But it has been an intense battle between the 67, 88, 81, and the 48. And they're running out of time.
Time is of the essence at this juncture. We are only 37 laps away from crowning a champion tonight. And again, your four points leaders, they are the guys who are starting first, second, third, and fourth. These guys are literally now battling every single lap for what could be the championship. Now, granted, Favignano would have to have a huge win and have Graham, Bugs, and Sargent wreck each other to get back into the mix. But even a win here tonight would shake up some of the positioning going into the final two races of the season.
That's where it gets a little tricky because, as they are running, you see the 81 in front of Sargent there, and Graham and Favignano. Favignano fourth in points, but he was 30-something back going into this race, so that's 30-something spots there. And then you have Bugs and Sargent that were tied, 1 point away from each other. So it's really tricky right now. We'll keep an eye on it, and as they get updated, we'll let you know at the end of the race. Wes is usually pretty good at updating those for us, but Favignano, he would love nothing but to shut this down.
Oh, you know he wants that W more than anything. He has had a couple trouble weeks. Actually, no, did he win last week?
He did not win last week.
Oh, Bugs won last week.
Bugs won last week.
That's right.
He won the truck race on Monday.
Oh, that's what he won.
You're at this track, yeah. He knows this track quite well.
Favignano is a very interesting cat on this season, especially in terms of consistency. 3 poles, 4 wins, tied with Wes for the most wins on the season so far. 5 top 5s, 6 top 10s, and still 68 points outside of the top spot. 45 points away from Brandon Bugs in position number 3. So Leonard Favignano needs, I think for his own sake, he needs this win tonight to reestablish himself as a contender going into the final 2 races of the season.
Well, lights are off on the pace car, and we're going to be green flag racing next time by, so we're about to find out what goes down at this next restart. I think it's time for guys to start getting really aggressive on these restarts.
Well, let's see how many laps we can go without a caution, boys. I think we can do it. I think we're going to see some exciting racing here. Some good green flag runs coming up. I'm calling it now. Let's do this.
Go ahead and take it, Ryan.
Here.
Or not. Favignano will take the lead, and it's gonna be Wes the Mess right behind him. Bugs and Sargent side by side through turns 1 and 2. Is Favignano gonna have any challenge from those pack leaders? Looks like Bugs wants to make a move going into 3 and 4.
And have a look there. That's Nick Sargent right back there. But Austin Johnston almost putting the 87 into the wall. But look at Charles Gray bouncing back from that earlier incident. He's up in the top 10 right now, P6, and moving forward.
They're still side by side here. Austin Johnson on that low line as Gould gets into the 74 Steinhoff. Jason Lance gets hit, recovers. They're still green flag racing. Good recovery there by those drivers. Thank God we got some green flag racing. Good job, guys.
31 laps left to go at this juncture. As Favignano, Graham, Bugs, and Sargent, your top 4. And Favignano starting to pull away. Has a half second on Graham, almost a full second on Bugs. And Sargent now almost a second and a half away from the leader. Can these other three line up, and can they start making a move for this lead?
Right now, they just needed to take some laps off here and hope that the 67 has burned his stuff up a little bit more than some of these guys, and he can fall back. I mean, he's 0.6 now from, it's a little over half a second back from West there, but he's starting to increase that lead.
There is trouble brewing behind them in the midfield and beyond P13, and then even right there with Charles Gray and Austin Johnson, they're side by side fighting for that P5 spot.
Probably the best fight on the field right now is Charles Gray trying to get back into the mix, trying to get around the 21 Lone Star beer. I believe that's a Chevrolet Camaro. Oh no, check that Ford Mustang of Johnson. Steinhoff now, we ride along him in his Camaro, the Next Level Racing Chevrolet Camaro, watching all of this happen, but he may be taking a very long view of it as he is watching everybody from a far distance.
You see him shifting right there. He shifted down into fourth. We're seeing some of these guys starting to shift that we didn't see earlier in this in the race.
They're single file with about 25 laps remaining. Coming down to the tail end, Jeff.
Yep, the 86 of Lance is right there to try to challenge the 74 of Steinhoff for the 7th position. But watching back up here now, Sargent is under fire from the 87.
Fodorero, Graham, Buggs, Sargent, your top four as Charles Gray, the Chuck E. Cheese machine, trying to do everything he can to spoil that party up front with his own brand of questionable pizza. Not going to happen this time by, though, but he does have a fast Chevy Camaro, as you see on the front and the back of Sargent there, about 2 car lengths maybe, plus or minus away from that Nerds machine.
And we're hearing all these guys shifting now. I'm wondering, we're going to ride on board here with Fodorero and how he's attacking the track. But he is shifting as well. So we've seen guys that were not shifting all race now using 4th gear off the corners. I think everybody's doing it.
As Joe mentioned earlier, you're using that engine to brake the car, help you with braking as you're entering that corner, and keep your RPMs high all the way through it so you can get a nice fast exit out of it. As Fodorero putting on a clinic of fast lap. This is not what you want if you're Graham and Buggs. You do not want Fodorero up front just hot lapping, because that is his MO for sure.
But again, you said it earlier, Ryan, that he was down 3 laps at one point in this race. He was all the way, he was down and out. We counted him out of this race. And now he came back. He slowly got his laps back. And now he is just hot lapping it on the rest of this field, putting on a clinic on how to run this track, using the transmission to his advantage to keep those RPMs high and keep that car stable. Even if a caution flag comes out, it may be difficult to beat Fodorero with 20 to go.
Yeah, with 20 to go, this is where if a caution comes out, you want it to come out in the next 10, 15 laps. So it kind of forces everybody to come down pit road and get fresh tires.
Pit stops are done. Those guys have packed up. Those guys are just looking to celebrate at this juncture now. Even if another caution flag comes out, they've used, I believe, 4 sets of tires. They still have 2 more in reserve. I think with 20 to go, it'd be a Hail Mary. You would have to be at the back. You'd have to be like Lance Spell or Lance the 86, Jason Lance of the 86, that icy machine. You would have to be in his position to go down and get tires now if a caution flag comes out.
One little fact I'm going to bring to the table, just going to say that Fodorero is the only driver in the top 10 that has no fast repairs left. Not saying he was going to need them, but that's just something to note.
Can't make a mistake is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
So pending a meteor falling on the 67 U.S. Army Chevrolet Camaro, Fodorero continues to lead and tick down these laps. Buggs now has found a way, is in position number 3, as Charles Gray has stolen a position from Nick Sargent. So the man who's second in points may not be the key, may not be held that position when we leave this track. And now Gray is slowly starting to reel in Brandon Buggs.
Ooh, Charles Gray making a move there. Bold move on the outside. I don't know if it's going to work for him. If he can get a run off this corner, if not, he's going to fall in behind Buggs. But you saw him there giving a little peek there on the outside as he's still right on his bumper.
What a move that was right there. And I think it's going to work out for him.
It may work out just so perfectly for him as he gets down, gets the run, and he is going to run side by side with Bugs. But that's a great thing to see if you're Nick Sargent now.
Oh no! The 81's around. Hang on to it. Hold the brake. Hit the brakes, everybody.
Get around, boys.
Wow, the caution comes out. The 81, we saw the side-by-side racing, but on old tires like that, you saw him just get loose off the corner. He was trying to give Charles Gray all the room he possibly could. And I know what that feels like when you're on the outside lane and you're trying to put the power down to race him without, driving his door. And Charles Gray gave him plenty of room there. And just a great job of keeping it out of Charles's door. But he finds the wall instead. However, we're going to keep an eye on things here because if anybody's going to come down pit road, we're going to see it happen. And there it is. The 67 will come down pit road. I knew it would come down to this because you got to have fresh tires to do it.
Is anyone coming down, or is there someone that's going to risk it and stay out?
Everybody
Everybody coming down. All right.
I'm about to say, I'm going to throw it over to Tony Wilson to walk us through what we're seeing on the track and with these pit stops.
Yeah, you as soon as Ferrero pulled down the pit road, you knew everybody had to come because he's going to have the advantage of those fresh tires. No one's going to want to give him that kind of advantage at all. So everybody's going to come down and get 4 fresh tires, and it's just going to be a big shootout to the end here.
I'm not sure if these guys are staying out for track position as a Hail Mary or if they're going to be waiver rounds, but the 81's staying out as well, not coming down pit road. Yeah, here they come. So Gould is the one that's going to stay out.
Interesting.
That is an interesting move.
That is a bold move.
40 laps on those tires.
We've seen that move several times, and we haven't really seen it work out yet.
Nope. But, hey, crazy things can happen. You never know. Nick Gould's a good driver, and he might be able to make it work.
Man, with a 67 with fresh tires, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I do not see that happening.
But the risk here is Favignano's got to keep it clean. He knows he's got no more do-overs. So if he wants to get around that 14 Gould mobile, the Canada mobile, don't blame Canada because you got to get around safely.
Well, Joe Ogle in the 55 is 14 laps down, but the ones that are off the track right now are Clint Spells, Donald Underwood, Jeffrey Spells, and Joel Brown. They have elected to take their cars off the track, and they are not in the running right now. But the 14, not a lap down here. This is just a Hail Mary for track position. We'll see if it works out in his favor, but
81
you may not
pit
win
road a second time.
What?
He might be trying to get some damage repaired on that machine before he goes out because he knows he's going to have he's got a tiger on his tail coming out of this track. That machine is beat up and he wants to do everything he can to keep it competitive as they get ready to go back to green flag racing.
I just watched right there. He used his second fast repair. So perhaps he came down a pit road, got work done on the car and was like, this is going to be too long, not worth it. So came down pit road again, used that fast repair.
I think he just forgot to check fast repair. I think he was coming into the pits and he was just flustered. I think he just forgot to check it. That's usually what happens when you have to come back in a second time.
Well, things are going to heat up. Don't count out the 87. Don't count out the 48 of Nick Sargent. The only problem with that is that Nick Sargent's going to be in line with the 14 of the restart. If the 14 spins his tires, he's not going to be in a good spot for that.
Well, hold on to your hot dogs because this is going to be very interesting. Pay attention to that bottom line, and we're going to see if they can get through the first few corners safely.
Pace car will be down and away this time, and we're going to try to finish things out here.
Green.
With 9 laps to go, 8 to go here at the stripe. Green flag back in the air.
Great restart for the 14 machine. He's going to get a nice little jump, but here comes Favignano and company. Without those tires, he's just going to get swallowed, chewed up, and spit out by that group. Now drama all the way to the track.
You can see the difference just on corner speed there, how much that pack just quickly caught up to Gould. Favignano gets around him safely. He's going to be your leader. and Sargent Johnson and Lance going to be behind him as Sargent's desperately trying to get around the 14. He was going to try and push it 3 wide with Graham on the outside, backs out of it, lives to see another day, but this fight ain't over.
Well, man, the 48 washed up the track quite a bit. Lance in the mix right there behind him, going to make a move. Might be thinking about 3 wide down into 1.
Might be making a move down in turn number 1, but the 14 is going to block the 48. Nowhere to go. It looks like he gave him a little tap going out of the turn 1 and 2. Going to get him out of the way using the chrome horn. And here comes Graham and Sargent.
Austin Johnson did a great job of backing out of that one to not make it 3 wide.
Yeah, Graham was able to get around Gould on the outside, but Sargent gets loose. Steinhoff gets loose, gets into the Gould mobile, and everyone involved. Oh, big wreck.
All clear, all clear.
Caution will fly once again. Tough break for Steinhoff. He was just trying to keep it out of the mix there, and that's going to be damage to the 74 in P15 as he runs.
Let me know when it's open, DJ.
Starting 4th, so not the night he wanted.
But what a fabulous mustache he has.
Yeah, that's a nice cookie duster.
I'll let you know when it opens. I'll let you know.
I can feel, sorry, Joe, I can feel the frustration watching that 48 car just then. He was stuck behind Gould, trying everything to get around him, gave him a little bit of a shove, and then you could tell he was just racing hot. He got loose out of that corner, which caused the chain effect, the chain reaction. And we had our 12th caution of the night. I've lost count.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, you hate it for the 48 because yeah, he's trying to be courteous and be nice, but there's only so much you can do, especially when points are on the line like this. When you get trapped behind somebody that's slower than you. Like, and I know the 48 doesn't want to wreck him or anything like that, but you also got to get more aggressive than that. I would have moved him a lot earlier than he did.
Yeah, it was. We've all. I know you've been in that situation where you're like this. I can't get around this guy, and he is so off pace. You're like, I'm stuck at the mercy of this guy in front of you. So it's trying to get around him as best you can. But then you got cars behind you taking advantage of that and passing on the outside. Like you just can't get around them. It's like trying to fall in line on a super speedway. You just can't get around them and can't get in line.
Well, this originally was the Commonwealth Classic 200, but it since has been renamed to the Joe Cortez Hebrew National Classic 200 here in Richmond.
Tell me where to send
Raceway.
Tell me where to send the check, by the way.
It goes to the OCRP iRacing League PO Box.
Okay.
We'll get you connected with the treasurer.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We learned what a
How
Commonwealth
about it goes
was
to the
tonight.
MS Society?
There you go.
Okay.
All of that. There we go.
Okay.
Speaking of that, what you got going on?
I mean, I don't have to do it again. That's fine.
How
So
dare
Fodorero, Gray, Graham, Johnston, and Lance, your top 5 right now. Sargent has dropped to 7th, but if he can stay in front of Brandon Buggs, he will be able to hold on to position number 2 in the rankings tonight.
Don't count out that 87 of Gray. He's aggressive on these restarts. He's been fast all night. And if he has anything for the 67, now's going to be time to show it because they're going to be in a green-white checker situation here. And we get 15 attempts at this.
15?
Please no.
It would normally be unlimited, but they have limited it to 15, as that's all that iRacing will give you.
I don't think that's in my contract.
Did you say that's the max iRacing will give you?
15, yeah.
Okay.
Wow. So they put a cap on it.
I put a cap.
If we go 15, we'll likely see some more pit stops.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
We have yet to have that happen. We've in this league we've only seen one green white checker. I don't think we've seen 2.
Oh no! Oh, that's a lie.
I don't believe so.
That is a bold-faced lie, and you know it.
I mean, we don't talk about Martinsville, right?
Oh, that was the race almost left. Yeah, let's not talk about Martinsville. Oh God, that horror show.
Yeah. I don't count that.
What did you call it, Ryan? A clown show at one point?
A clown fiesta.
A clown fiesta, that's what it was.
Clown
Hopefully
party.
we will not have another clown fiesta tonight.
Well, the pace car is down and away. We're going to try to fix the problem, and that is the end of this race without a green, white checker, green flag in the air.
Green in the air as Favignano once again back up front, but look who's side by side behind him. It's going to be Wes Graham, and it's going to be Charles Gray, 2 by 2. The rest of the field continues. We got a spin in the back.
They're wrecking.
That was the 91 of Webb, and I think he had help from the 81. Oh, and he comes back down to repay him.
Oh,
What is that?
retaliation at its
Might have been.
finest.
Might have been some retaliation. Wasn't happy with the 81 there spinning him, but this is a situation where the 81 fast on fresh tires here. I think that the 91 was just slow on the outside. The 81 tried to hang off of him there. 74 gets into him. The 81 hitting the brakes here, trying to keep out of the 91. Gets it going straight again, but oh, he just absolutely just turns left down onto the 81. I don't think he meant to do that. I think he was trying to get to the pit road. Yeah.
Look, he got loose.
Yeah.
I don't think he meant to do that.
Nah, he didn't mean to do that.
And Bugs that came over the radio and actually apologized to Webb there.
Yeah, I ran into him right here. You can see just the difference in speed. Not much you can do.
Hey, we're classic commentators. We like to create drama when there probably isn't none. So
I was about to say, Ryan, didn't you used to have a segment called Where's the Beef?
who be beefing?
Who be beefing? And right now, I feel like the 91 and 81 may be beefing after the show.
Could be. Could be beefing.
If the beef was as real as Taco Bell's.
Oh God.
You know who does make a good beef product?
Okay. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead. The Joe Cortez Hebrew National Classic 200. We're on our second green white checker here at Richmond.
You happy you got that out? You sound very proud of yourself.
I'm very proud.
Let's get over to Jay real quick, who's still hanging out in the Jeff Favignano Broadcast Center. Jay, what are your thoughts now going into the second green-white checkered of what could be 15?
This has been some pretty intense racing. The 18-person chess match that's going on here is always fun to watch. The constant thinking and the constant decision making that's going on in these cars is mind blowing.
So two questions for you. Number one, what is your prediction on how many it'll take for us to crown a winner? And number two, who's your pick to win?
I'm gonna go that this is gonna be our final one, and it's gonna be Favignano or Graham. And I'm gonna have to go with the 67 car. It just seems to be running a little bit smoother than anybody else on the track right now.
So you heard from Jay first. Favignano, he's got his eyes on Leonard Favignano for the win. Chat, put it in chat. Let's see who you're picking to win tonight, and how many it's going to take to crown a champion.
Number 3 question, Jay, if you're still there. When is your NPR talk radio show? Because my gosh, your voice, the chat is loving it. They want you to read them bedtime stories, apparently.
It is in the works. I'll have more information as we go.
I think
Jeff
that we just
Go
sold Jay a Electro Voice RE20.
I think so, man. I was going to shout you out for doing a wonderful job on his EQ. Mixed perfectly, sir. Well done.
Oh well.
No, it really is. I would legitimately pay to sponsor a podcast.
We know.
A nightly story. Like literally, I will take money out of my wallet and give it to him to start a podcast, a nightly story podcast
About Hebrew Nationals.
I'm one of these days I'm going to get a check from them.
Oh, this stream has jumped the shark. Let me tell you.
Yeah. It has for a while.
Oh yeah.
Attempt number 2 at the green white checkered. Favignano and Wes Graham side by side. It will be their race to start as we get ready to go. Green flag racing. 2 laps to go. Here we go. Green flag in the air, and it is Favignano to the line first.
Can we make it to a white flag? After the white flag, it don't matter what happens, but we got to get there first. Can we do it? Can these guys keep it green to the white?
No problems on the backstretch going into turns 3 and 4 now. Favignano comes around. All he has to do is get to the start finish line. He does. White flag out. Next flag ends the race.
1 to go, sponsored by Thrustmaster. Favignano out front. No problems out back. And we got the 05 sideways in the background. We're going to stick it with the 67 right now. Coming to the line. Favignano will take the win here at Richmond. I really thought Ryan was going to pick that one up. Sorry, Ryan.
No, I wanted you to have that one.
There you go. An incredible run by Favignano. Talk about attrition, falling all the way to the back and then working his way through the field, and will get the win done here tonight. Favignano, Graham, Gray, Lance, Johnston, Sargent, Bearder, Guzman, Bugs, and Steinhoff to round out the top 10. So a lot of fighting back there. It looks like Sargent will get the points on Bugs tonight, as the 81 had that tangle later on in the running. But here is the 67 of Favignano, going to burn it down here.
An unexpected win for Leonard Favignano. He will now be the king of the league with 5 wins to his name in that U.S. Army Chevrolet Camaro. Incredible win for him to come all the way from the back to the front and ultimately take the checker flag. What a unexpected win, but I'm excited by it. That was a really great finish.
He swept the races, so he won on Monday in the Truck Series, and then he'll win tonight here in the Cup Series as well. He pulled a Kyle Busch on them all.
Started first, went to last, back to first. What a story arc for Favignano, and now he's going to burn it down out front. We had a couple unexpected people up there in the top 5 after that as well. People that were running in near the back and kind of midfield, but we'll go through that running order in just a second as we continue to watch Favignano celebrate. Jeff, you got it.
All right. First place goes to Leonard Favignano. Wes Graham in second. Charles Gray third. Then you got Jason Lance, Austin Johnson, Nick Sargent, Robert Bearder, Zachary Guzman, Brandon Bugs, and Ryan Steinhoff will round out your top 10.
In position number 11, Robert Webb, who started 19th, will finish in position number 11. Tyler Schultz in 12th. Alexander Reno will drop 5 positions, starts in 8th, finishes 13th. John Orndorff, 14th. Clayton Cyrus, 15th. Isaiah Stevens, Nick Gould, Joe Ogle, Clint Spells, and Donald Underwood round out your top 20.
And finishing it all out there, you got Jeffrey Spells, Joel Brown, and Rick Evans. Didn't complete any laps there, nor Tony. Tony is your race control, but there they are. Stick right here. We're going to head over to the drivers, and we're going to talk to your race winner and more here in just a few moments. We'll be right back. All right, we're going to get caught up to your race winner, Leonard Favignano. You fell all the way to the back. You had to go down pit road. You had to make those decisions. It ultimately worked out in your favor. Tell us about your race and how you got it done here tonight.
It was definitely I had to come back from being 3 laps down. I had a tow on that, I think it was lap 36 wreck. I'm not sure what happened. I didn't watch it yet, but I hope I didn't bump the 6 too hard there that caused that. But yeah, when I had the tow, I went 3 laps down, stuck on pit road. So I was just hoping that there would be some cautions that I can catch a lucky break, get the lucky dog, eventually get back on the lead lap. And once I got back on the lead lap, I just try to take it calm through the field, make sure I don't burn up my stuff and keep everything clean. And then when I was racing West for the lead, side by side for like 5 to 10 laps, I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. And then there at the end, for those restarts, I just had to keep it clean, keep her steady.
There you have it. And you get the win on Monday in the Truck Series, which is not the one you had focused on. And you said, hey, moving into this race, I've got to win races to try to get this championship. And you're doing exactly that. So what's your game plan moving into Dover and then ultimately Charlotte to try to have a shot at this?
Well, as it looks right now, all I'm focused on is top 5s and trying to get top threes or a win. If Wes, Sargent, or Bugs have any major issues, I can possibly catch up, but I don't see that happening in the next 2 races because they are all really good drivers. They're really competitive. They know how to keep it clean and professional on the track. So all I'm really looking for is just a win or top 5. That's it.
There you have it. Well, Favignano will start on the pole position. 3 laps down, you heard it, and then comes back and gets the win with 74 laps led. But just shy of the amount of laps led was the 88 of Wes Graham with 69 total, and definitely put on a great show there and a good points day for you overall.
Yeah, for sure. After the wreck that we got forced into there, I heard from the admin that the 67 got into the 6, pushed the 6 into me. We bounced off of each other. I was already on the wall as it was, and then just went around spin cycle. Might as well put Maytag on the car now, but or Whirlpool that would work as well. But didn't expect to get a top 5, to be honest with you, especially after practice. Was practicing doing the shifting and everything. Wasn't going to start doing that until late in the race, and then had that really good battle with Leonard there. That was a lot of fun. I was definitely pinching them down, kind of practicing for the end if I could get there, and absolutely shot myself in the foot on the last 2 pit stops. Missed my box by like 2-3 inches both times. Lost spots on pit road, but walking out, lost my 0x streak, but walking out with a runner-up finish, couple of spots ahead of Sargent. I'm very looking forward to these last 2 races here.
Well, you started 5th, and you're going to finish in the 2nd position. After leading laps today, you don't get points for that. Not a big deal, but finishing 2nd is definitely good. And moving on, I'm going to let Ryan take it from here.
I got to unmute my mic. There we go. All right, moving on. I want to talk to Mr. Jason Lance. You had an up and down night, got involved in a few wrecks there. Tell us about your race and how you're able to squeak out a top 5 P4 tonight.
After my mishap on Monday night, I kind of wanted to redeem myself. But started on the front row and done pretty good. I held my own with the Leonard there for a while. After my it's hard to catch Leonard anywhere at all. He's just a super fast driver. But I got myself back in the pack, and I made contact with Isaiah. So I apologize for helping him around. But I wanted to make sure that I had at least one. I'd be like one of the only guys to have like one set of tires left, so that's why I stayed out longer that one run. But I couldn't have used them anyway because I would end up losing too many positions and just taking too long to gain back. But I wasn't. I was expecting to do much better tonight, but I'm happy with the top 4 finish.
Right on. Good P4 there from Lance. And the other driver I want to talk to here quickly, Jeff, is the 81 of Brandon Bugs. Now, Bugs, I know you got a bone to pick with one of our commentators here. Is he here? Oh, Bugs is even here. Okay, well, never mind. Back to you there, Jeff.
No, it would be Mr. Cortez.
Oh, we'll pass over to Joe. Sorry.
That's all good.
I appreciate that. I'm going to catch up with the driver of that number. What was it? The number 87 machine. That is Charles Gray in the Chuck E. Cheese machine. First off, I have to ask, tell us the inspiration behind this incredible machine you're driving tonight.
That's Jeff's nickname for me. Anytime he refers to me, he calls me Chuck E. Cheese. So figured, I was watching the stream the other night, and he says, I'd like to see Chuck drive a Chuck E. Cheese car. So that's what I was calling. I said, done. So got a new sponsor for this week.
And you represent him well. That being said, though, how heartbreaking is it after running so strong tonight to only come away with a top 5?
Top 3, I believe, sir. And I'm very happy with that, actually. I got into it a little. I got myself loose off of 2, I don't know, halfway through the race. I don't know what lap it was. fell back a little bit, got into a little thing with number 5. Sorry, can't remember your name, buddy. I apologize. Clayton. Got into it a little bit with him. We got into a wreck, was back to 18th, and then just worked my way up from 18th back to 3rd. So I'm definitely happy with that performance tonight.
2 races left in the season. What's the game plan?
Try and finish each race and just be positive and have a good time, man.
That is your 3rd place finisher, the driver of that Chuck E. Cheese machine, number 87, Charles Gray. I'd like to also catch up to the man who is 2nd in points and will probably stay that way going into Dover, Nick Sargent. Nick, great race out there tonight, but definitely one of the most taxing races on the season. One of the most taxing races on the season.
After I stayed out with Lance on that one stop at the beginning there, and everybody else pit, and I was like, oh boy.
Got him.
And just kind of after that, when I pit, had to fight back through the field and get back up there. And that last pit stop, I managed to jump Wes, and I don't remember who else was up there, but I came out, I think, like 2nd out of the pits or something, had the 3rd place restart. And man, I think Wes needs to take Gould out to dinner or something. It's just, I thought maybe I would have had Wes there, but just kind of got stuck on the inside and nowhere to really go. Almost ended up wrecking myself, but somehow managed to keep it going and brought it back to a 6th place, which is still pretty good, but I feel like it definitely should have been better.
You finished 6th place tonight. Brandon Buggs finished 9th. So you will hold on to that 2nd place position in the points at this juncture with Dover and Charlotte left on the schedule. What's the plan just to try to ultimately seal the deal on this on the championship?
Right now, I really just the focus is to just beat Bugs the next 2 weeks. I don't necessarily think I'll be able to close in on Wes unless he has some pretty major mistakes or the next 2 races are pretty bad. I have had quite a bit of practice at Charlotte in the next gen car, so I'm optimistic there, but we'll see.
And that was the thoughts from your 6th place finisher tonight, Nick Sargent, still 2nd in points. Jeff.
All right, we're gonna let these guys get to the drivers' meeting, and we're gonna head back to our broadcast booth. And good luck. I'm sure nobody will be salty.
Thank you for the broadcast.
All right, final thoughts here tonight at Richmond. Joe, incredible racing we saw here. Some guys not too happy about things. It really does come down to points, and I did pull up the points. They have been updated. Wes leading the points with 446. 420 is Nick Sargent, and Brandon Buggs in 416. So very close between those drivers, still moving into the last couple of weeks here.
With 2 weeks left on the schedule and 2 polar opposite tracks, Dover, the mile-long concrete monster, and Charlotte Motor Speedway, the 1.5-mile cookie cutter that is very fast and known for good racing. It's still anybody's racing. It's still anybody's championship. And what we saw here tonight was just a preview of that. The next 2 races are going to be critical, and they are going to be a spectacular showcase for everybody involved. And Ryan, I don't know about you, but I am really excited to see what happens in the upcoming races.
I'm always excited for every race, but we're coming down the wire, and I think it's gonna be some good racing coming down to the last race of the season.
Well, to put the last words to it, Jay, anything else?
I really don't have too much to add. I mean, you guys have kind of nailed everything down. It was an incredible race. Everyone drove their heart out, and I can't wait to see what happens next week.
And we move on to Dover next week. Things are going to get a little shaky. I'll be in the middle of my move right there. I'll do the best I can to get everything together for the 28th of Charlotte, the final race here. But that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thanks for showing up and watching live on twitch.tv/jfavignano and also on Favignano Live on YouTube. We'll see you guys next week at Dover. Have a good night. and stand by for raid to Wes.